Scraggin Expressers, welcome to Podcast X, Season 2, Episode 13. I know it doesn't make any fucking sense, but James told me to say it that way, so hey! Welcome,
It was a
James!
joint decision.
It kind of, yeah, it was, okay.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
we realised we kind of fucked up, but you know what? As Bunny said, the seasons is the bit we added on, you know? The episodes keep rolling.
I think the episodes just need to keep rolling, and at least the podcast will be unique, you know? And it's the first episode of Season 10 will be like episode 90 or something stupid like that, so,
the first
it's,
episode of season 9 will be 90. But
that's incorrect, because we're in Season 2, and we're on episode... Oh boy.
That just... Okay.
I believe I just blew your mind.
No, you think about it, Bunny.
Think about what?
10 per season. And you said by the start of season 10
Look,
we'll be
it's
on
season
90
2,
episodes.
correct?
Yeah.
Yep, and we're in the 10s, correct? We're not in the 20s. So
I see the way
10.
you're going about it. I see
Yeah.
the way you're going about it.
The smart way, yeah. The correct way. The intelligent way,
Yeah.
James. That's the way I'm going.
That completely makes sense now. Except it'll be episode 91. But
Oh, well, excuse me. Fucking hell. Just picking at straws, aren't
Yeah.
you? Just anything
Yeah.
you can do.
But hey, if you're new here, hi.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to Podcast X.
Yeah. So Bunny has actually written the majority of the topics this time. Well, pretty much all of them, to be honest. I only have 2 mental topics, but we shall roll on anyway. So Bunny, first topic.
Okay, let me see. Where did I write this down? Oh, yes. I wanted to know, James. This is just something I wanted to know about you. Do you believe in luck?
In luck.
Yeah, and that can be like not only lucky situations, but also like lucky objects or lucky numbers or stuff like that. Like, do you believe in luck in any shape or form?
I often use the phrase luck. Oh, like you were lucky there, or that was a lucky shot. But in actual fact, no, I do not. I believe in coincidence and placebos.
Very interesting response. And why is it, do you think you believe in that rather than the more fun way?
What are you calling me boring? Huh? Is that it?
Yeah, I don't need to call you boring, mate. You just look at you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. That sounded mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, I think believing in luck it's not too different from believing in mythical things themselves, is it?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But for some reason, I feel like luck is more socially acceptable to believe in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to explain, but I'm a much more scientific approach to things, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the exact same. I don't believe in luck. I don't think it's an actual thing. When someone says they're lucky, there's always something else there that means no, you're not lucky. This just happened. Or no, you're not lucky. This just happened. There's no proof that luck exists, is what I'm trying to get at. And also, I think the point when it kind of changed for me was when I was told about, well, I made a video on it, but it was called the law of averages. It was basically
That was the phrase I was looking for. Yes.
Yeah. It's basically just if something happens enough times, eventually you're going to get a certain response or you're going to get a certain result.
It's like when people buy a lottery ticket every week in their life, and then one day they win, and people ask them why, and they say, "I guess I'm just lucky." Bullshit.
Oh no, you bought a lottery ticket.
You probably bought about 500 of them. You know,
Even
over
if they
your
didn't,
lifetime.
even if they bought one lottery ticket in their entire life and won, you still bought the lottery ticket. You know, I'd be lucky if you didn't buy a lottery ticket and you won the lottery. That'd be very lucky.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be unbelievable. I would immediately believe in luck.
Into your hand.
Yeah. It's literally just, oh, didn't you know you won? But I didn't buy a ticket. Yeah, but you won. Oh, good. See, that's luck. That is luck. Anything else? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's not particularly. I mean, at least it's a nice thing to believe in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything against people who live their lives based on well, maybe not living their lives based on luck, but I have nothing against people who believe in luck because it's quite nice. It is quite nice that there's
Yeah.
something out there that could turn in your favor.
And
But
to be honest, there's a lot of stuff as well which revolves around luck, which is actually just good for teaching kids just to be safe. Things like if you smash a mirror or if you walk under a ladder, then you'll have so many years of bad luck. Or if you walk inside with an umbrella up, you'll have whatever. And to be fair, that's just a clever way of making them remember: don't walk under ladders,
yeah,
don't smash big things made of glass.
yep.
And don't walk inside with an umbrella unless you're planning on removing somebody's eyeball from the socket.
You know what? I literally never thought about it like that. Everything they say is bad luck is just dangerous.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Hmm.
Hey, make sure you don't run with scissors. It's bad luck. No, it's not. You just get stabbed.
It's bad luck to sell the nuclear launch codes to the Russians.
It is. It's terrible luck because
Yeah.
chances are something's gonna happen. We're
20
all gonna
years
die.
of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, luck. Jesus. I mean, yeah,
There are some
I think-
crazies out there, though, like the people who decorate their house in horseshoes.
yeah, that's something
I mean,
else.
my God.
That is something else. When you're actually actively going out and buying shit to decorate your house with,
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
that your life is going to be better, you've made a
You're a
mistake.
fucking
You've made a
loony.
serious mistake. Like nothing against you guys. I know it's nice to have, and it's like you said, it's like a placebo. And there's nothing wrong with placebos, but it is a placebo. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's not real. You just think it's real, but.
Mm.
Hey, I mean, shit, we could just make this conversation ridiculous and start talking about religion. That's a fun topic.
What? Oh, do you know? Let's stay away from that path. You know, something
Hey,
I
I was
noticed the
brought up-
majority of our audience is actually from the US, and the US, I believe, is still about 70% or maybe more. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Walter, but I think it's around 70% religious.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. 70%.
Mm-hmm. And the
Holy
UK's
shit.
around 28. Australia's around 23.
Yeah, I can see the UK being 28. I can.
Mhm.
But wait, when
Yeah.
you say religious, do you mean any religion?
I think so. Yeah.
28% for any religion?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm.
So
yeah, it took me by shock as
72%
well.
of the UK just don't believe in anything.
I guess so. Atheist, yeah.
Surprising.
I
That's
think
very
I think agnostic might also go into that group though.
Yeah, that technically does count. Like, yeah.
So there's there's a lot of people who are kind of, meh.
Who knows?
A lot
Yeah.
of them.
I'll have this attitude, and then hopefully when I get to heaven, God will be like, "Oh, you didn't believe in me, but hey, you were in the middle, so yeah, come on in."
Yeah, I guess so.
The simple fact of the matter is, if you're agnostic, you're not agnostic. I don't think there's such thing as agnostic, to me at least, because the whole point of religion is faith. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So if you are a bit like, I don't know, God could exist, he might not exist, then you just don't believe in God. That's as simple as. You just don't.
I think those people want to but can't bring themselves to.
Yeah, I think yeah.
See, to me, and this isn't me, spitting on religion or anything like that. This is just from my perspective as an atheist.
Mhm.
It's really hard for me to understand how how I could, let's just say if I was religious, it's hard to understand how I would just believe in this force which has never presented itself to me, never that I think anyway has done anything for me, to just believe in some ultimate, all-knowing, all-seeing, all-being, eternal force. It's so out there and such a weird thing, I mean, it's if anything, it is less out there than believing there is a flying blue teapot in the sky. Because no, think about it. Because the teapot's not all-seeing, all-knowing, all-being. It's just a fucking teapot that somehow defies gravity. I'll find that easy to believe.
You're silly.
No, I don't think so. But to me as an atheist, it's just hard to imagine trying to fully bring myself, to and I know there are people who are, but to make myself 100%, no doubt in my mind, believe that when I die, this is going to happen if I do this, this, and this during my lifetime.
Hmm. Yeah, you see, now, I think it may have something to do with the upbringing because at one point or another, I was religious because I was brought up as a Catholic, a Roman Catholic. So I, as a child, at least, up until the age of, I don't even know actually, up until the age of about 15, I wholeheartedly believed in God, 100%.
So what is that like? You-
It's, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I
Because I
mean,
imagine it must, if anything, must be more peaceful.
it
You
is.
must feel
It
more
is.
content with life and the meaning of it and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I'm not going to lie. The set of rules that are most commonly mentioned when it comes to religion or my religion specifically, the set of rules that are in place that Jesus gave us and stuff like that are rules that I believe in. They are, and they're rules I still follow to this day. It's easy stuff like don't murder people,
Yeah,
don't sleep with other
I
people's
was gonna say
wives.
I do like religion in a lot of aspects when it keeps people it kind of keeps them in, because I feel like the law's one thing and everybody kind of listens to the law, but if people are hardcore religious, then there's the commandments are a next level up from the law.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely,
love thy neighbor
100%.
is a command which can only produce nice things.
Mm. And also, I mean, there's two aspects to religion that I saw at least while I was religious. One was the whole life after death thing, which even saying it now sounds ridiculous, but at the same time, it meant you had something to push towards. You had a reason to be a good person because there was a reward at the end and stuff like that. So that was one aspect that was quite nice. It was just a nice thing to think about. It was a nice thing to believe in. And then the other aspect was the fact that you've always got someone to talk to. Always. And that's literally the way it was for me. Like I was using religion just as a way to chat to someone. I would pray and if I had any troubles in my life, I would ask for some help and stuff like that. And again, see, I don't want to say that there is no God because people believe in God. I believed in God. So I'm not going to say that. But for me and what I believe now, I believe it was a nice placebo effect for me to have at the time because I could just chat away to this guy who understands me, knows me inside out, even the most terrible things I've done in my life. He saw them, he was there, he understood, and I could apologize for them and know that he was going to forgive me for them. And it kind of gave you some closure as a person, really. I mean, that's the reasons why I enjoyed religion. But then the one thing I do not enjoy and never did was church. I believe that at the moment, mass is completely broken, 100% broken. I can't see it doesn't engage anyone. It doesn't do anything. So that's one thing I think is wrong at the moment with the Catholic Church.
Okay. I don't know shit about church, apart from the fact I live in my house was once one. So other than that, I really got no idea.
Hmm.
But yeah. Well, I mean, obviously I know the basic stuff about church, but I could not honestly say I've ever experienced it like you have.
I think it's a bad thing in some ways as well because when I went to university and I met Ben, one of my friends, and found out he didn't believe in God, it shocked me. I was like, "What? You don't believe in God? What do you mean you don't believe in God?" Like,
Wow.
because what had happened was my primary school, St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Primary School. My
Mm.
secondary school, Cardinal Vaughan Roman Catholic Memorial School.
Hey, at one point I went to a Catholic private school.
Really?
Yeah, in my very young years, I got kicked out.
Why? Because you were like, this is stupid. It doesn't make
No,
any
no,
sense.
no, no, nothing to do with the religious aspect at
Oh,
all.
you just had a fight with someone.
I was just a delinquent.
Were you actually?
Yeah, actually, in reflection upon my younger years, I was a proper knob.
Wow.
Mm.
I would have never guessed that. You're such a nice guy now. I would have never guessed that when you were younger, you were a bit of a dickhead.
Hey, if I was a nice guy when I was younger, I'd be an okay guy now.
That's. Wait, really? Well,
Mm.
what makes you say that?
Well, because I think if you have a period in your life where you go to absolute mayhem and you're just a terrible person and you say
Mhm.
things which even now I think about and I'm just like, why would I say that to somebody, especially somebody in that situation? But it's upon reflection of and out of saying those things and the utter disappointment in myself I feel for saying them, if anything, makes me a better person now.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Learn from your mistakes, I suppose.
Yeah, precisely. Precisely. So I think you are right. I think you are right. Which is why, even though I was a complete dick at one point as well, I wouldn't change anything. Never.
Yeah.
100%. Keep everything the same. Learn all the same things from the same mistakes. And then, yeah, it's a nice thing to do. Mistakes are good. I like mistakes.
There's only one mistake I would undo I can ever think of. But other than that, like I
Is
said, I
it
wouldn't change a thing.
something? I'm guessing it's something we can't talk about if it was that big.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
good.
can't
Great.
talk about
Great.
that.
So thank you for mentioning it on a podcast.
No, I'm
Great.
just saying, how many things are there that you would change? None at all?
Well, there's
Because I've always wondered what would happen if I woke up one morning and I had something different for breakfast. How would that change the rest of my day?
I do think about that as well. You mean like almost like the butterfly effect kind of thing?
Pretty much, I always think to myself, what if I went back in time and I said something different to that person that day, or I just walked a different direction down the road? How would my life be different right now? Would it have just corrected itself back into what it is right now? And the only difference have been what I changed? Or would it have had a butterfly effect and completely changed my life? Because I kind of do, I wholeheartedly actually do believe in the butterfly effect.
100%.
And I'll tell you why. I'm sat here talking to you right now
Mm-hmm.
because about May-ish last year, I got up earlier than usual. If it wasn't for that,
I know
none
where
of
you're
you
going.
would know who I am. I would not be sat here talking to you. We would never have heard of each other. I would not be on YouTube. And that was the day that I got up early, saw an episode of Painkiller already, and made a video which then got re-uploaded to Woody's Gamertag's channel, which resulted in you finding me, us talking, us getting to know each other.
And us having
resulting
sex.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have
Precisely.
5 kids and a
Now
mortgage.
we do. We do have 5 kids and a mortgage, precisely.
But yeah, now we have this, our kid is this podcast effectively.
Yeah, that's very true.
And and since then, if I'd never have met you, I'd never have come all the way to London to go to Eurogamer Gadget Show. All these things I would never know. Canyon, Owen, Arrow, Courageous Armadillo.
Very true.
It just, and honest to God, I think for me,
In fact, you wouldn't know Walter. Oh my God.
Jesus.
Can you imagine a world without Walter?
Jeez.
What a cold, dark place.
Don't do that to me. Don't. I mean, religion's one thing, but that is just.
That's beyond religion. It's just beyond.
You just went to a dark place.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring us there.
Okay, but yeah, back in the room. Yeah. But think about how much of a butterfly effect that's had, What if I'm still doing this in 10 years?
To be fair, mate, it was the exact same thing with me. I was doing a series called Inside the Gamer Studio because I watched Inside the Actor Studio on YouTube by pure chance. I happened to be watching Woody's Gamer Tags videos as well, happened to watch the video you were watching, and I happened to send you a message saying, hey, ignore the haters and blah, blah, blah. So, it's Woody's Gamer Tags channel. It's bound to be haters.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, I said, ignore the haters. And by the way, yeah, I've got this little interview show going on. Let me know if you want to hit it up. And then you happen to read that message before any of the other guys or pick that message. Yeah, it's crazy how many variations there could have been if one thing was different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love thinking about stuff like that. I think the butterfly effect is a very, very interesting thing to talk about. I really do.
It's a huge thing, but the butterfly effect, definitely a real thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it just is. Think about it. When you met
Yeah.
someone on the street that one time, that would have never happened if you left the house 5 minutes earlier. Like, that's
Hmm.
just a small example of the butterfly effect.
Oh yeah, big time. But and I believe in it because there's an actual process to it which I can mentally lay out in my head, and I'm sure you can right now as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All you guys listening. So yeah, that's I suppose kind of how we kind of got from not believing in luck to believing in the butterfly effect. But
Although, technically, if you think about it, the butterfly effect does not exist.
oh, because it's not like we've gone back and changed something.
Precisely. Time travel doesn't
Ooh,
exist, so the butterfly effect
oh,
doesn't exist.
you're throwing a stick into my cogs there. Hmm.
Oh, but yeah, that's just a silly thing. I mean, we all know the idea behind it. It definitely. Oh, that's a good point. See, now I've said it. It's it's tough
Hmm.
to prove it's a real thing,
Yeah.
but it is. It is. We all know what the butterfly effect is.
Yeah.
If you don't, the original idea behind the butterfly effect was it in the book first, or was it
I think
an
the book.
idea before the book?
I think the book came first. I think.
Yeah. It was basically the idea that you could go back in time, or these guys went back in time to the dinosaur age, if I remember correctly in this book,
Yeah.
stepped on a butterfly, and then when they came back, everything was different. Like the English language was different and shit like that. Like it was really weird. Someone else
Mm.
was the prime minister or something like that. It was strange. It was really strange. Um, and then
Yeah.
it's been done a lot of times since then as well. A lot
Yeah.
of times.
I think there's a film now as well, I think. But I think the
Yeah,
main
true.
message of it is the further back in time you go, doesn't matter how small a thing you change, the further back you go, the more dramatic the changes.
Yeah.
Because that butterfly could have been the predecessor to what eventually evolved into, I don't know, I'm just thinking like a mosquito and
Mm.
wiped out this one type of dinosaur with malaria and whatever, and then didn't eat this type of plant, which now means we have oak trees. Or
Yeah, exactly. It's
650 million years is a long time.
yeah.
A lot of shit could have
Precisely.
changed.
Yeah, it's very, very it's scary to think about almost because you could essentially go back in time, kill one caveman, come back here, and chances are
You were the
like
only
it there's
human.
yeah, there's a possibility that
Oh yeah.
no one who exists today would exist.
Mm. Just be
Like
different
it
species altogether.
yeah, exactly.
Bunch of
Exactly.
fucking caterpillars roaming the earth.
Jesus, could you imagine it? What a terrible place.
Um, yeah. It's a scary thing, but definitely small changes, small decisions I think you make on a day-to-day basis can make a huge difference later on in life. But don't make that something which stresses you out or makes you think about every tiny thing you do. Like, oh, how could this affect this much on in my life? Don't think about it like that.
No,
If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Just live
exactly.
life, and then hey, some things that may occur due to small decisions may be bad, but hey, one of them could put you on the high road to success.
Precisely.
So just ride it and remember, I've forgotten what it was again. Law of averages.
Law of averages.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the whole idea behind the butterfly effect is it's 100% hindsight. You can't preempt the butterfly effect. It's impossible because everything. If you make a decision in an attempt to like not change, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, just the butterfly effect is about the past entirely. You just don't even
Yeah,
let it affect your life. It's just not the same thing.
yeah. And because you can't travel back in time, don't bother.
Yeah. Well, not yet anyway. Do you think
Yeah.
time travel will ever be possible?
I think going forward in time, maybe.
Going forwards, that's already happened. Technically. Very
Yeah,
tech.
it's wishy-washy woo, though, isn't it?
Oh no, it's happened. It has happened. 100% it's happened.
Yeah, but I want it on a much more industrial scale.
A larger scale.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. what is time travel when you think about it? Because it can be a lot of different things. If we manage to successfully invent the cryogenic freezer, like Futurama style.
Yeah.
You just close the door, doof, you're frozen, and the next thing you know, the door opens, you're 2,000 years in the future. That's kind of time travel.
It is, but only from your perspective, only from your perception.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Time travel itself isn't really possible. Time travel is because time is, is again, it's a wishy-washy woo.
Yeah, it's
how
it's
you
all
view time.
perception. Yeah.
Exactly. Time is how you perceive it, and it's like when you sleep through the night, time just you don't perceive it. It just goes.
Yeah, true.
You close
Technically,
your eyes.
sleeping is, yeah, you're right. You're right.
You close your eyes, you open them back up again. I just fucking traveled in time. Woohoo!
Yeah. Technically, you time travel every night.
Yeah, at least that's what it feels like. And I feel like I feel like we don't have to master time travel as much as we have to work out how to preserve ourselves in such a, I want the Futurama cryogenic freezers.
Yeah.
When I'm on my deathbed, I want them to freeze me. When they find a cure, wake me back up, or I'll say, if you haven't found a cure in 1,000 years, just wake me up so you can see the sunset 1,000 years from now and die.
Yeah.
Then I could die happy. And before that, I'd want them to just quickly read the history book of what happened since I left. Like who became prime minister? No, I don't give a shit about that. But what happened in World War III? Oh well, the Jerrys came over here and they fucked shit up, and then the Russians and all that.
See,
And
I don't think...
what happened to the Middle East? The Middle East. What's the Middle East? Oh, sorry, you call it the radiation zone.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Something dark like that is gonna happen one day.
Yeah, definitely. That's
And
why,
it'll
personally...
be the next Chernobyl. Somewhere will be.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to happen, 100%. As technology advances and people remain stupid, it's gonna just be a stupid end to the world, 100%.
Yep.
But I mean, if I had the opportunity on my deathbed to be frozen, I wouldn't do it. 100% wouldn't do it. Even if tomorrow
Really?
I was gonna die, I would not do it. Never.
Care to elaborate?
A couple of reasons, really. First of all, I like this time. I really do. Things are simple. There's a lot of opportunity. We still have a lot of resources around. Maybe not a lot, but we have enough to get by and to enjoy ourselves. So many things are going wrong in this world that I can't see the future being very good. I mean, I know it probably will be because of, basically just technology. They're going to find things in the future that will make living a lot easier with the limited amount of resources that we have on this planet. But at the same time, I wake up, I've been cured, I live my life with absolutely no one that I've grown to love. Absolutely no. Everyone's dead. And then it's like, wow, okay, so now I've got to deal with this. All of these random people who have 1,000 years on me, who are thinking I'm some kind of fucking caveman because I haven't gained the intelligence that the human race has in that time. They're all looking at me like I'm a weirdo. I probably am going to be a weirdo to them. They'll have changed physically in that time. And it doesn't sound like the kind of place for me. And plus, nuclear war's going to end the world. So what? I'm going to wake up to just a desolate wasteland?
Why not?
Fuck that jazz.
And by the way,
Mm-hmm.
you just said something which I wanted to comment on, but I forgot.
Wow.
Could you rewind the last sentence you just said, by any chance?
Wake up to a desolate wasteland?
No,
Fuck
just
that
before
jazz?
Just before
Oh, dear God. What did I say just before? It was, everyone I know and love dying.
No.
Physical change in humanity.
Yes, that was it.
I knew it was going to be that.
Okay.
I knew, yeah.
No, that shouldn't be.
Do you think so?
Yes. Evolution, and you're going to have to bear with me for a minute on this. Evolution is wrong.
You know what? I can't say I'm following.
Okay.
I can't.
Let me lay this out for you, and you tell me whether or not you think this is true or false.
All right, go ahead.
And don't try and justify it, just roll with it.
All right.
So let's go back to the history of the giraffe. The original giraffes when they had shorter necks.
Yeah.
They were trying to eat shrubbery off of tall trees, whatever, by stretching their neck up constantly day and night, trying to reach leaves and shrubbery on higher places.
Mm-hmm.
And then generations by generations, because they were using their neck and stretching their neck so much, their necks just became longer and longer with each generation, obviously very, very gradually. And then over millions of years, they've evolved to have massively long necks like they do now.
Yeah.
True or false?
True.
False.
Do you want me to punch you in the face? Do you actually want me to punch you in the face?
It's completely false. What it is those who couldn't reach, those who were born with shorter necks and couldn't reach the shrubbery on higher places which they needed to eat and live and survive, died out due to selective evolution. Is it selective evolution the phrase I'm looking for?
It's
It's
not.
late.
It's natural selection.
Natural selection. Sorry, it's like 1 a.m. guys. But yeah. So natural selection. That is what causes evolution.
But at the same time, you have to look at it from this perspective as well. So, judging, if you were to go 100% in the direction that you just said, that would mean that back in the day, when giraffes supposedly had shorter necks, there were giraffes with short necks and giraffes with long necks. And that was it. And the
No.
guys with long necks just survived, the guys with short necks died, and now we only have long necked giraffes.
No.
Then what happened? How did they get the long necks?
Mutations.
What do you mean?
So let's say there were 1,000 giraffes. I don't know, 50 million years ago. There probably weren't back then, but let's just throwing out numbers. Let's say there was 1,000 giraffes, and one of them was born with a mutation. In the same way people nowadays are born with extra limbs or a crazy long leg or something like that, or they're born crazy strong, crazy weak, whatever. A giraffe is born with a freakishly long neck. This giraffe, the rest of them look like a horse or something, and this guy's got a 3-foot long neck. But wait a minute, he's eating a lot more than the other giraffes. He's grown up, and because he's got so much more nutrition and protein and whatever than the rest of the giraffes, he's grown up to be bigger and stronger, and he can outrun predators better than the rest. And then he's mated with another giraffe, and his babies have the same defect as he does. They have longer necks as well, and they grow up to be faster and stronger than the rest of the other giraffes. Over the course of that 50 million years, eventually, this one with the mutation, which actually proves to be a mutation with, an actual evolutionary advantage, just eventually outlived those without it.
Isn't that the dictionary definition of evolution?
No. Well,
I'm pretty sure that's the dictionary definition of evolution.
That's the dictionary definition of natural selection.
Natural selection is evolution. They're involved. They go side by side.
That's not what you said the first time. I gave you this example where giraffes were stretching their necks constantly, and then they gave birth to giraffes with longer necks because they were stretching their necks more. And
Yeah,
you said,
okay, that's
and
what
you
you
said.
said.
True.
That's what you said, and that is partially true.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
Of course it is.
No, it's not.
Think about it, okay? So you're trying to say there was one freak giraffe who was just born with some freakishly long neck, and then he essentially birthed more freak giraffes, and then they just got more and more freaky.
Not necessarily more and more.
If the
freaky,
guy had
but
a
they just
3-foot neck, okay, in your example, it would have to be that a giraffe was born looking like what giraffes look like today, despite the fact that they look like horses like at the time.
yeah.
Because if he was born with a 3-foot neck, and then they started having babies, then basically now they'd have 3-foot necks.
Well, yeah, but they would have gradually through different mutations over time would have got longer and longer to what it is now, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
is
why
the
was it
general
getting longer?
consensus of
It was getting longer because,
because there were giraffes with other mutations as well. I imagine some early giraffes had a mutation where they had, like really, really short necks or really
and then
really
they
stout
died.
legs, and then they
Natural
fucking
selection.
died and didn't reproduce because they were
Survival
the
of
ones
the
that got
fittest.
eaten.
Evolution. That's how it works. Natural selection,
But
survival of the fittest, evolution.
You're agreeing and disagreeing with me at the same time.
That's because you're half right, half wrong.
But I'm completely right.
So you're okay. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Walter?
Yeah, please, please, Walter. Please let us know because James, you are right. You are right.
Just tell us who was mostly right. I'm sure we've both said something that's wrong at some point.
No, I haven't. I just simply haven't. I'm sorry. Just haven't.
I do know this one girl who if you try and mention anything to do with evolution or natural selection or anything like that to her, she fucking flips her shit. She is the most hardcore Christian I've ever met. And she pulls this whole card where she turns to me and she goes, "Oh, so fish just magically grew legs and jumped out the water one day, did they? Is that what they did? They just decided to have legs that day?" I think not. You're quite clearly the idiot here. And then stamps on your foot, walks off. Bitches be cray cray.
Bitches do be cray cray. That's okay. That's she's entitled to her opinion, but at the same time, the fact that she's actually said to you, "Oh, so fish just grew legs one day, did they?" is probably one of the most stupid things I've ever heard. Because that's not what evolution is.
And that's a direct quote, by the way. There is no ifs or buts about that.
Oh my god! Wait. So she doesn't honestly believe that fish grew legs one day, does she? Like she doesn't believe that's how evolution works, does she?
Oh, obviously, because she refused when she was in school learning about evolution and stuff. She just walked out, and they can't stop her because it's her religious opinion.
Yeah, but
she just refused to even talk about it.
Okay, well, that's her choice. I mean, but to say that fish grew legs one day is just ridiculous. It's over millions and millions of years.
Says to me that she hasn't even bothered looking into it, and if you know that little about it, you can't disprove it,
See, now she is wrong. She is 100% wrong. Even for someone who's religious, she's wrong. Like the whole idea behind religion is that evolution is the means, not the ends. You say to me, "Oh, you think God exists? Okay, then what about evolution?" I say, God did that. God did evolution. There you go. I win. But what she's saying is, evolution never happened. Even though it clearly did.
I don't understand why she must be in the mindset that humans we just started off like we are now. And so did every other animal.
She believes in Adam and Eve. That's what she believes in. She believes Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. Now, even when I was religious, I knew that wasn't a true story. It's a symbolic story. Half the stories in the Bible are symbolic stories. Wow, you hear that?
What?
Didn't you hear that?
No, I did not. Was it?
Oh, never mind.
What was it? The noise from outside your place?
Yeah, it was.
Oh. I did hear an ambulance or something earlier.
Yeah, that happens a lot. This area. Oh. Did you hear that?
Very slightly. What is it?
There's people racing outside or something. I can't tell.
Racing?
Yeah, I live next to a motorway, so every so often two dickheads will race it. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
I want to talk about Justin Bieber.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, let's talk about Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, DUI, gets away with it.
I hate that guy so much.
I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't his biggest fan before, which probably doesn't help my opinion now. But I tell you what, when I just remove my opinion of who he is first and just think about what he actually got put in jail for. So just picture this with me. Just a person you've never met, just a random person off the street, and this is all you know about them. They were under the influence of drugs and alcohol. They shut off a road with help by bodyguards, friends, or whatever, and then started to drag race down said road whilst under the influence. A public road. There is very few things more dangerous than that. Now, my stepsister, a few years ago, she was hit by a driver driving under the influence.
Oh my God.
Her 2-year-old son was nearly killed in the passenger seat. If he had been sat on the left side of the car, he would have just had a wheel go straight through his face.
Oh my God.
but the motorcyclist killed himself along with her friend in the passenger seat.
That-
So,
Wow.
just the thought of this guy potentially having the ability to cause an injury the same as what my stepsister went through, and they find him. What was it? It was in the thousands of dollars, but no more than $3,000. That's for sure.
Oh my
To a
God. Is
guy-
that the
to a-
value of life now?
To a guy who makes so much more money than that. Fucking what?
You know what he's done? He's done the complete opposite to what every other human does. He started off as a nice little kid, like a nice kid on YouTube who's really talented, and then turned into a dickhead when he grew up.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen. It's very rare that happens. Usually you're a dickhead when you're a kid, you grow up, and that's it. You're a nice guy.
Mm.
But this he's just done the opposite. And I lost all respect for him when I saw that video of him like urinating in a mop bucket.
Oh,
And,
and then said fuck Bill Clinton or something along those lines.
Something like that. Just some stupid. And he's the kind of guy, I guarantee he uses YOLO. I guarantee he says YOLO. And it angers me.
But it's also to do with the fan response. You know, the fact that there was thousands of people campaigning for his release. Free Bieber. Bieber didn't do it. He's innocent. He's quite obviously not innocent.
No, it's a clear fact he's not innocent.
You know, he resisted arrest. Apparently not violently, so I'm not quite sure how he resisted it, but I suppose he was just uncompliant and verbally abusive.
Could he have driven off? Like just
That
not
could be
stopped?
It. That could be it, yeah. I'm not sure, but all I know is he non-violently resisted arrest.
I also heard, I'm not sure if this is true, that he doesn't even have a driving license.
Oh, yeah, it was out of date.
Yeah.
It was out of date.
What a nice guy.
Mm.
So he hasn't got a license. He's on drugs. He's been drinking. And he decides, let's shut this public road and do drag races. Okay, yeah. How the man has any fans left, I have no idea. But hopefully he'll be getting deported from America soon. So that's perfect.
Yeah, that would... Wow. Wouldn't that be brilliant? And there was a big campaign about that on the internet. I think it had like 300,000 signatures.
Yeah.
But
did you not hear about that?
No, well, that's why I'm talking about it. I did
As
hear
in
about it.
with Obama and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
But-
okay.
Now he's actually been called back to Canada to sit in court for something.
For something else or for the same thing?
Something else.
Oh, of course.
Mm. And I also heard stories about him as well in his house in Los Angeles. He was just egging his neighbours apparently and drag racing up and down the street.
Yeah, that also happened, yeah.
He lives in a cul-de-sac, you know, admittedly one full of millionaires, but still, you don't go and egg your elderly neighbour.
No,
Who does that? This dude's not 15 anymore. You know, was he 19, 20?
Yeah,
Come on.
he's
Come on.
20 at least.
You know, it's time to grow up.
It's just
He's got to respect and understand the amount of influence he has over so many people, he shouldn't have.
no.
But there are so many of them that really do live their life by this guy, and that blows my mind more than any religion.
You know what it is? It's a vicious cycle. This guy is rich, okay? With money comes a lack of responsibility. For people that young anyway. Then, with money also comes a lack of having to face your responsibilities when it comes to the law and things like that, which means he just does it more because he knows there's no consequences for his actions. I mean, if a guy can take drugs and drink and drag race down a public road and get fined $3,000 for it, do you honestly believe that if it was me or if it was you, that would be the case?
Oh no, not at all.
Do you think if we had the best lawyers in the world, that would be the case?
No, well, I mean, obviously we don't have the money to afford something like that. But
No, but I mean, even if they just volunteered to help us out,
I very
like
much doubt it. Yeah.
it's literally it's a case of black and white. It's not like, oh yeah, you have a great lawyer, but you broke the law. You got caught breaking the law, so you go to prison. Like, well, that's it. That's the long and short of it. And
Yeah.
yet this guy can do whatever the hell he wants.
Couldn't agree more.
Hmm.
Mm. I'll tell you what. You just entertain her for 20 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh my. Oh no. Pressure. What the hell am I gonna do now? Okay.
Suck his knob.
Oh. Oh. Okay. So. Okay. That's something that just happened. So yeah, guys, just me and you. Yeah. You know what? I prefer this. I prefer it. I think podcast sex is a lot better like this. Maybe I'll just kick James out. We'll test that butterfly effect theory. I'll go back in time and I'll slap him in the face. And then we'll see how it goes. We'll see if he's still here, if he's not still here. And then myself and you guys can just have some nice conversations instead, because I think it's better that way. It is. Especially when this guy's so wrong about evolution. How can I even have a grown up conversation with him? It's just ridiculous. And before the podcast started, he actually said that he loved Justin Bieber more than anyone in the world. So don't believe anything he's saying now. I just wanted to put that out there. You know, he gave me the opportunity to tell the truth. He said he loves him. He wants to kiss him and hug him and make him feel loved and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought I'd just tell you guys. He also said that he has like really nice abs. So yeah, that's something else he said. Yeah.
I may have been on the other side of the room, but my headphones were right on my head with me.
Let me see how
Mhm.
to explain. You were having an episode. Everything you heard was a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Uh,
Mm.
I don't know what to say.
You're not gonna like the bloopers episode. So just in case you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, pretty soon there will be a podcast next bloopers, which might not sound like much because hey, it's a radio podcast, but internet podcast. Sorry. We do a lot of test records, and there's a lot of conversation which goes on before and after the podcast, which I do record. He usually doesn't know this, but there's some pretty interesting stuff that gets said.
Oh shit. That's not good,
So,
James.
no, this is good because I mean I'm just trying to build up a dictionary of you saying various words so I can put them together in a carefully constructed sentence. And think about the shit you said before. Come on, man.
Mate, you don't even have to put a sentence together. You can just take a sentence I've said, and that's it.
Take it out of context.
It's right there. I've said that I'd bang guys before. I've said that I wanted to be in Sam's pants. I've threatened to hit toddlers. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah.
Just watch the episode. You don't need to make your own.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Would you like another topic, Mr. James?
I would love one, Mr. Tears.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It's a shame.
It really is. It really is. Were you aware of his work before he died?
I was, but as with as when every good actor dies, you only learn how much you actually would have liked them and their work after they've died, which is a terrible shame. But once he passed away, obviously I started googling him and actually found films which I didn't even know he was in, and he is actually a very, very good actor.
Very, very good actor. I mean, he's been nominated for 3 Oscars, won an Academy Award.
Exactly. And at first, when I heard about him, I was like, yeah, it's a tragedy, but was he really one of the best? Yes, he was. He's one of those actors where you see him in a film, and you forget he's an actor.
Yeah, one of those rare few.
Yeah. He completely immerses you. You only have to go to the last bloody Hunger Games to understand what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he manipulates how you think about him in so many various ways. It's amazing.
100%. I mean, this is going to sound like we're kind of complimenting him because he's died, but to be honest, I knew about Philip Seymour Hoffman before he died. I mean, one of my favorite films of all time is Almost Famous. He was in that. I loved his character in that. if you haven't seen Almost Famous, which I guarantee James hasn't because he has no taste, you need to watch that film. It's unbelievable. It really is. Have you seen it, James? Of course you haven't. You haven't, have you?
No, I haven't.
I knew it. I knew it. It's a classic, mate. You have to watch it. You have to. And his character in it is really humble, really nice character. Very well acted.
Mm. Oh, that's good. Oh, but yeah, it's a shame, you know. To me, what seems more of a shame is the age of which he died.
And the means to how he died.
Yeah, I know. It's a depressing thought, isn't it?
Hmm. It really is. It
To
really
die
is.
alone and in that situation, and how the family must feel.
I mean,
It's not like he died from a terminal illness, guys. You know, he died because he overdosed.
yeah, on heroin.
Yeah, which just
It's
as well. Oh my, how he. Oh,
it's so tough to hear. I would have had no idea that he had anything to do with heroin until this happened. It's really, really sad.
you don't with most of them. To be well, you kind of saw Amy Winehouse coming, but
Oh yeah, there's a couple of situations where you see it coming, but a lot of the time it's just pure shock. You have no idea.
mm, like the guy from Glee.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't as bad though, was it? What was it that he was doing?
I think it was the same.
Really?
Yeah,
Heroin?
yeah, I think so.
Oh shit.
It was definitely an overdose.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I remember it was an overdose. Maybe I just didn't hear what it was, but yeah, it's an awful, awful drug. People never, ever, ever do any kind of drugs. It's just not the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Actually, that's something I'd like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I think we would have spoken about it last time. Did we talk about marijuana?
We mentioned Woody's video on it.
Yes. All right. Okay. Nah, that's my opinion already out there then.
Oh, right. Your opinion is the same as Mr. Woody's.
Yes, completely.
See, I'm not too sure because I think it's a bit. The video had so many great points. If you haven't seen it, it's linked in the previous episode of Podcast X, I believe.
Yeah.
So just go back, you can watch it. But there's a lot of great ideas in that video. But I think that because Woody hasn't. I don't know. I don't think Woody is the kind of person who spends time with people who do smoke marijuana. And I don't think he's the kind of person who smokes marijuana. In fact, I know he's not the kind of person who smokes marijuana. But it seems like he was generalizing a lot. Because one of the questions he asked was, do you know someone who's smoking marijuana, who smokes, like not has smoked, who smokes marijuana? Are they a winner? And I know people who smoke marijuana who are most definitely winners, 100%. I know a lot of people who smoke marijuana and are the most productive people I've ever seen in my life. For example, I won't give away any names or anything like that, of course. There's a gentleman who I work with who has 2 full-time jobs and an eBay store that's very popular. He's already saved 6 grand in the last year to put towards his own pub. He's literally just going to buy a little pub, start running it, and that's it. That's it. And he's just so productive. He has a daughter, everything. I mean,
my only counter to that would be: was he a winner before he started to become a user?
I don't know. I didn't know him before, to be honest.
Yeah, so that would be my only counter. Otherwise, I don't have one. But you know, I would have thought the the more likely case is people who are successful and then start to use marijuana are a different situation from people who start using marijuana and then become winners, because I haven't heard many of the latter.
Okay. I have in my head through four people, and I'm not going to give any information on these people because they're pretty close to me. 4 people who started um, using, and after that time became successful
Okay.
and have continued to use. That's what I mean. Like, and obviously, there's the other side. There are the potheads who only use. That's it. Their life revolves around using, whereas other people use. It's hard. It's so hard to explain. It really is,
Mm.
because I'm not too experienced in it myself. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have tried it before. 100%. I've definitely tried it before. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, because there are people who base their life around marijuana, and then there are people who just have marijuana in their life.
Mm.
And there's a lot of both groups. And Woody's video was very good, very true in almost every aspect, but it sounded like he thought everyone who used marijuana was the pothead side of things, which it's just not the case. It just really isn't. Like, I know for a fact it's not.
Yeah. Well. Um.
But here's another thing: making it legal, I don't agree with. Don't agree with at all.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
Just because exposing more people to it means more people are going to take the route of the pothead, which is
Yes,
just
and
negative.
yeah,
It's just
that's
never,
exactly
no.
where I'm at as well. Because yes, a lot of people say, "Oh, so many people do it now. If you make it legal, they're just gonna get it by legal means." If you make it legal, more people will do it because, hey, believe it or not, a lot of people actually do listen to the law.
Yeah, it's strange.
A lot of people really do. You know, um, I've known people who didn't smoke until they were old enough. You know, they always wanted to, no matter how much I tried to convince them not to. You know,
Mm.
they always wanted to, but they waited until they were ready and legal. People will do the same with marijuana. And I think here's the danger with it. Although Woody did generalise definitely to everybody who uses as, the extreme pothead side of things,
Mm.
I think if you start using marijuana, then there's a possibility that you could fall either way.
100%.
And
That's what I
and
mean.
just
That's
by
why it should be
starting, you've
illegal.
exposed yourself to that risk of going to one
Yeah.
extreme or the other.
100%. 100%. And for those of you that try to compare smoking and marijuana use, it's just not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. People are saying, oh, marijuana's not as bad for you as cigarettes. It's less addictive than cigarettes. It's this, it's that. Why is cigarettes illegal and this is illegal? Cigarettes give you cancer. They're more dangerous. It's like, well, they are two completely different things. If you smoke a cigarette, you're not going to get high. It's not going to affect your day. It's not going to affect your performance. It's not going to affect your work, your life, your relationships, or anything like that. Marijuana will. It might even be for the positive, but more than likely it will be for the negative. 9 times out of 10, it will be for the negative. And I've done it before. I have done it before on more than one occasion. And I will tell
You've
you
done
right now,
both.
it's just not the same thing. Yeah, I have done both. I have done both. And people can function completely normally while they're smoking cigarettes. Of course, it causes more cancer cases than marijuana does. But hey, make marijuana legal, and then we'll decide which one's worse for you. Because I know for a fact, as Woody mentioned, marijuana itself is actually more harmful. It causes cancer greater than a cigarette would if you smoke the same amount, which people would start doing if it was legal.
Yeah, and here another thing, it just adds to the list that just adds to the amount of people who are more likely to DUI.
100%. And that's another thing I don't like. It cannot, if you want to make it legal, it cannot be made legal until there is a breathalyzer equivalent for marijuana, which at the moment there isn't.
There needs to be one,
Yeah.
definitely, because
At the moment, if they do a test on you, they'll be able to tell if you did marijuana in like the last month.
exactly.
They can't tell if you did it today. They can't tell if you did it before you drove. So it's just not,
Yeah,
it makes no
exactly.
sense. It makes
I mean, I've
absolutely no
never
sense.
heard of somebody running somebody over because they were driving while smoking a cigarette. And that's
It-
not me
It's
being in
to be
defense of
honest, it's
cigarettes. That's
probably
just the
it
truth.
has probably happened just because of distraction, but it's not the same.
It's not like alcohol or what marijuana could be.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how they're not distracting you from the road as much as they're impairing your senses.
yeah. And also, I've seen a lot of potheads, and having that risk in society, no way. No, thank you. No, thank you. I've seen shells of people. I've literally seen people turn into potheads, and I've seen their actual personality change. I've seen them lose intelligence, and like that sounds bad, but I've actually seen that happen. Their jokes go from being intelligent, smart, funny jokes to being just like, can you believe that? Just oh my god, and it's like,
It's an interesting
what?
observation.
What happened to this person? Like I've actually seen it happen,
Yeah.
and
Um,
that risk is not. There's no room for that in our society. No, no room for it at all.
you start to drift into a slightly different social group as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
And
Cocaine, however, is all positive.
oh yeah, cocaine's
Yeah,
great.
well, yeah,
Cocaine makes
to
you
be
think.
fair,
It's just there's no negatives. No
it just
negatives.
should be legal today. To be honest, mate.
Yeah. It's a well-known fact. If you drive whilst on cocaine, you are less dangerous. In
Yeah, there's
fact.
actually you're actually less likely to
Hmm.
to crash if you're on cocaine. That's a fact.
Yep.
Everything we just said was incorrect. Do not listen to what we just said.
Apart from the marijuana stuff.
Apart from that, I meant just the cocaine stuff. Ignore the cocaine stuff.
Yeah. Somebody there's like, oh, all
Oh, really? Someone just ended the video at the end of that sentence. Oh, really? Well, I'll go buy some.
right. See ya.
Oh
Thanks,
man.
guys. I was debating whether or not I should sniff this line for the last 5 hours, but yeah, oh, let's go for it.
My God. Ugh. Ugh.
So unlikely that that's happened.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't Walter, that's for sure.
Oh, of course not. No, Walter is far too intelligent to be doing any of those shenanigans.
Yeah.
I actually, well, I have your topic here if you want to talk about that.
I can't remember what it was, but okay.
The tube strike?
Yes. Okay. Well, it was my topic. Well, suggesting it to you because I know fuck all about it because it doesn't affect me.
Okay, and it doesn't affect, well, probably 90% of you, well, judging by the fact that apparently our viewer base is very American. So,
It is.
guys, in London, where I live, there's something called the Tube, or the London Underground, which is essentially a metro system underground that helps people travel around the city. Now, the city's pretty big, so there's a lot of trains. For the past 2 days, the Tube system, this train system, has been on strike. The employees of the London Underground have been on strike. Now, I understand that you might not feel like life is fair. I understand that you don't think you're getting paid the amount of money that you should be getting paid, and therefore you strike. However, the London Underground is an integral part of our economy system. It just is. Not only the economy side, but it's an integral part of just everything. People can't get to work if the tube is down, so they don't work. So you're affecting the entire city when you strike. Now, again, I wouldn't mind if you were being paid unfairly. However, the people who work for the London Underground get paid more than anyone else who does a similar type of job. For example, I have a cousin. Now, to be fair, she earned her way up into this position. This position, she worked very hard to get there. However, she is a manager of one of the stations, and she gets paid 56 grand a year.
Wow.
She works 4 days a week.
Ooh.
She works, what's it called? And she literally tells me, she's like, all I do is I sit in the ticket office with my iPad and I watch movies. And she gets 56 grand a year for doing that. The train drivers, I think, even get paid more than that. And all they do is press buttons and shit. And yet, because they're in this position where London needs them, they can strike, and then the government has to listen and has to pay them more. I don't think it's fair. It's the same with teachers. Teachers get paid so much because they can strike. Because if they strike, it affects us in a negative way.
And they have been a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with that at all, because if I go on strike tomorrow, I lose my job tomorrow. That's how it works. I'm not in the kind of position where I can strike and yet I get paid a fraction of what these people get paid, and I probably work harder. I literally, because of in fact, this just proves my point. Because of these tube strikes, in the past 2 days, I've worked 24 hours. I already said this to James. because you're striking, because you're not getting paid enough, I'm having to do double shifts every day of this tube strike, and I get paid, let's say, let me see, I'll actually sit here and try and work this out. I get paid about a quarter of what you get paid. So how does that make any sense? So you're making the people who get paid less work twice as hard because you want more money.
Mm. That
It's
doesn't seem
just,
very fair.
it's morally incorrect. That's exactly what it
And
is.
yeah, so obviously the government are making cuts to people, to public sectors and the pay and things like that around the country at the moment. But this doesn't include your US guys. This is a UK message primarily, even though you
Yeah.
may have a similar thing.
Yeah.
Our economy is still not that. It's not what it should be. Okay, we're still recovering from the recession. Things are gonna get worse before they get better. Yes, here's the problem: the government make cuts in the education sector, and then they strike, and then they have to pay them more. So then they make cuts in the public transport sector, and then they strike. So then they have to make cuts somewhere else. Guys, it doesn't matter. Somebody is going to get cut. Okay, everybody is going to get cut eventually at some point or another. Okay, just accept that it's your turn, okay, to receive those cuts. If you actually look into it, the government are actually cycling these cuts.
Yeah.
They're not just going, we're just going to cut everything from your sector and your sector owns nothing. Every other fucking sector is getting these cuts, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, but this just has to happen for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, deal with it now. 10 years from now, the amount you're earning, even though it is a cut amount from what it was, will be worth more because the pound will be worth more and the economy will just be better.
I actually, it's not really on the subject of cuts, but do you mind if I say something about everyone's economy?
Sure.
I'm gonna give, I'm gonna give a tip to all of the Podcast X viewers and you, James, and you, of course.
Always.
I hope you enjoy this one. Okay. Now, it used to be back in the day that currency was worth something. Or it was actually, yeah, it's current. There's two different types of money. No, there's not. There's currency and there's money. Okay? They're two different things. Currency is that piece of paper that you pass over the counter in order to receive goods. Okay? Now, that used to be backed by minerals like gold, for example. Gold is the main one, essentially. It used to be £1, for example, in our currency at least, or $1 was equal to a certain amount of gold. That way, the economy was always stable, always, because you have the right amount of currency and the right amount of money. Money, by the way, gold can be considered money, whereas paper is considered currency, essentially. Now, what they decided to do was change the rules so that their currency wasn't backed by money. So now currency is entirely 100% on a trust basis, essentially, that, people believe that this currency is worth something, therefore it is worth something. Now, I don't know how long that's going to go on for. People say inflation is good. It's better than deflation. That's not true. Inflation is not a good thing. The best thing to happen is for nothing to happen. No inflation, no deflation. That's good. Inflation is bad because it means that essentially the value of our currency is going down. We don't have anything backing our currency, and eventually it's going to collapse. That's just the way it is. More and more debt builds up, and they just print more and more money to make up for it. So here's my tip to all of you. If you get to the point where you're employed, you start making money, don't save currency. Don't save money in your bank account. Don't do anything like that. Invest in, for example, a safety deposit box and invest in physical gold. Now, when I say physical gold, I don't mean like earrings and stuff like that. You can buy bars of gold from £20 or like $30 upwards. Do that instead. And don't invest in gold stock because unless you have the gold physically here, it's just not the same thing. There's like every piece of gold is claimed by up to two people. Every single piece of gold in the world is claimed by two people or more. So unless you physically hold it, you don't own it. So don't invest in stock, invest in physical gold And then it means that eventually, when the currency collapses, which it inevitably will, it won't affect you in the slightest. That's all I'm going to say.
So, it's a
And
very
don't tell too
intelligent
many people.
observation, I suppose.
It's a secret between us guys. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family, but keep it there. And then we'll all be rich in the future promised
Isn't it a
land.
weird concept that the whole of community is bound by? And like you say, what is currency backed by? What is money itself when you're not handing over a physical item of worth? You're handing over literally money which tells you how much it is worth on a piece of paper. And you give that to that person. What do they then do? Do they then go and turn it into something that is worth money? No. They then go and they pay somebody else for a service, and then that person then goes and pays somebody else for a service. All we're doing is passing around these notes, and we're just playing a game of who can hold on to the most for longest.
Yeah, precisely.
So that's what the whole game is, you know. Who's got the gold? Who's got? What happens when huge countries like the UK and the US? What happens when we're trillions of pounds and dollars in debt, which we are? You know, do we pay it back? I suppose eventually over time, but what are we really paying back?
Well, look at the USA. Do you know what they're doing with their debt?
No.
Rather than pay people back in money, rather than even pay people back in currency, they're just selling stocks of America. They're basically just selling stocks in America to the people that they owe money to, despite the fact that these stocks of America consistently go down and down. It's the same with the UK, to be honest. They consistently go down and down every time you print a note, because currency, you're trying to use it as money, and you can't. You can't. It's not the same thing.
It's not actually going anywhere then, is it?
Yeah. So essentially, these companies that, these countries that are owed money by America or by the UK are being paid in more debt. They're being paid by investing in the country that owes them money. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's a system that can't work. And I could go into bullying banks and stuff like that, but it's too much detail and it's boring. I don't want to go down that route, but just invest in gold. Not only is that a good idea, but like think about it. Even if you want to live your life based on currency, if you invest in gold today, prices for gold have pretty much never gone down. They always go up. Always. Especially as the value of currency goes down, the value of gold goes up. So if you invest in gold now, you'll just have more currency in the future. There you go. It still makes sense.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, money is just a piece of paper worth nothing, so you should send it all to us.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Send it to us because it's worth nothing anyway.
It's a piece of paper, and we love paper.
We do, yeah. Actually, me and James are trying to collect paper, so just send it all here.
Yeah. Yep. PayPal works pretty well.
PayPal, yeah, it's very good.
I love reading digital notes. You know, you have received, this person's entire bank. But I mean, really, what was it going to do for you anyway?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just words on a screen.
It is. It's just words on a screen.
You haven't, like Bunny said, you're not holding the gold. It's worth nothing. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Here's an example of how little currency means. At one point in the past, I believe it was in the last 2 years, a hacker hacked into the mainframe of one of the local banks. I believe this is in America, and just added imaginary funds to his account. And no one knew. He literally just typed in some number that he wanted in his bank account, and it was there. And then he could then withdraw that money, that currency from the bank, despite the fact that it never existed. Now, that's a pretty flawed system to me.
Yeah, that just... some people might not get that. Just think about what he just said. Rewind the last 20 seconds. Think about that. This guy, you think the money you put in the bank, you think you've just put physical money in there. You're not. You've just gone to a bank, you've told them a series of numbers, and they've gone, yep, we'll have those series of numbers for you. Let us know when you want some of those numbers on paper and we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
That's basically you haven't gone, here's my gold, look after it, and then every year give me a tiny bit more gold for not spending my gold and letting you look after it. It's so fucked up.
It is. It's
What
just.
happened to the days when the guy with the most chickens had the prettiest wife, you know?
I miss those days, and you know what? Eventually, we'll go back to those days.
Eventually. It's just.
Eventually, you'll be trading water for food, basically. You'll be trading stuff that actually matters.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm cold, I'd better trade some food for a jumper. And then there won't be such thing as an economy. It's just a matter of, hey, trade this, trade that, let's stay alive. Happy
Makes a
times.
lot more sense, really, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well. I just want to get to Mars.
I wouldn't mind getting to Mars. You know, it would only take 100 years to what's it called? To create a livable. It's not ozone layer. That's not what I'm looking for.
Biodome or something like that.
Not even a biodome. To create a livable. I have no idea. Basically, to create oxygen on Mars, enough oxygen for people to live on the planet would only take 100 years.
Well, we could physically put that much there.
Physically, we could do
and
that.
you could just walk around the surface without a helmet.
Yeah,
or whatever.
without a helmet. 100%. An
What?
atmosphere, that's it. It would take 100 years to create a livable atmosphere on Mars. That's a fact.
But
And yet we aren't
how?
starting. We aren't starting now. I don't know where we're going to be in 100 years. I'm pretty worried about where we'll be in 100 years, if I'm honest.
But how?
To be honest, I don't even understand the science behind it, but I know it's true. And I think the problem with it is it requires a lot of resources that apparently we don't have at the moment.
Yeah, that'd probably be it. Oh, what else have we got on the magical list of topics?
I have. It's not going to be a long topic, but did you hear about one of the Xbox One updates?
No, I didn't.
Xbox One has actually created an update for the system that is purely implemented to prepare for the release of Titanfall specifically.
Really?
Yeah. What do
Now
you think that means?
That is interesting. Hopefully, that means Titanfall is going to be a game changer.
I think it will be, personally. And I think Microsoft is very smart in preparing for that. Because when Titanfall comes out, everyone's buying it.
It's
Everyone.
probably going to be something to do with making sure that the Xbox Live system communicates better and can cope with whatever influx of people it's going to receive.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't think anybody wants a repeat of a GTA 5 online.
No, we just don't need that right now. And if these preparations work and there's no problems whatsoever with the release of Titanfall, I honestly believe it could be one of the greatest game launches we've ever seen. If it's without a hitch. If it's not without a hitch, then it will just be a great game that fucked up again.
Yeah, well, I think I need to look into it a bit more, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But
yeah, I keep forgetting that because you didn't have the bollocks to try and walk into the 18 section.
Hey, I abide the law.
Hey, it was Eurogamer. You weren't going to get arrested for sneaking into the over 18 section.
It's the law, I'm afraid, you know. It's the law. There's a rating there.
To be honest, the fact that Titanfall is an over 18 game and yet Cabin in the Woods is a 15 makes no sense.
Yeah, that's pretty retarded.
Have you seen that film?
Yes, actually, it's quite a good film as well.
It is. It's a pretty decent film, but it's full of gore, sex, everything. And it's a 15. But Titanfall, where I don't even think I saw any blood, is an 18.
Yeah. By the way, I'm really a big fan of blood, sex, gore, you know, in that order.
That's
in
disturbing.
15s. That's really good.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, the way that modern culture has gone, 15-year-olds are definitely prepared for that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, to be honest, I believe that as well.
You
But
know,
is that a good thing, really?
I think maybe 13-year-olds is a bit too young for that sort of stuff, really.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, they've all seen it anyway, but it's probably not a good idea to just let them watch it.
Yeah.
You know, because if I'm going to go to the cinema and see a film with those things in it, I'd rather not be amongst, 14-year-olds.
Oh, yeah, that would just suck.
Yeah.
Plus, 14-year-olds have no cinema etiquette.
I know, right?
It's ridiculous.
What's your worst experience in cinema?
Do you mean my worst general experience or my worst specific experience?
Either, really.
Um,
But I mean, not the actual cinemas full, as in people in the cinema.
yeah, just around 13 or 14-year-old guys who are watching a film but decide that they are part of the film. So they decide they're going to just say whatever's on their mind and then all crack up at each other with these shitty little jokes that don't make any sense and just talk over the entire movie. That's one. The second one is when I sit at the back of the cinema and the couple next to me decide they're just going to fuck.
Um. Um. Um.
Was it you? Was that you?
You have to go. You have to say that last one again.
It's when okay. I on many occasions I've made the mistake of sitting in the back of the cinema thinking, "Hey, this is going to be the best view," not really anticipating the fact that that's where all the couples sit. And it's been numerous occasions where I've looked to my right and kerplow, there's a big cock there.
Numerous occasions.
Numerous. One time I was with my
What?
family and I look right and this guy's got his hand down his girlfriend's panties.
Ah.
And my little sister's there. My older sister's there. My mum is there. So I kind of just lean over and go, "Really, guys?
What?
Really?"
London. Jesus.
It ain't London. It's just,
I've
yeah.
never seen that in my.
Yeah, but that's because, like, if you go to a cinema in your area, there's like 2 people in it. And you're one of them. So unless you're getting lucky, it's never going to happen.
Well, there are more people in my my local cinemas in my local town, so there's a lot of people in there. But I've never ever encountered anything near that scale. I've heard about it, never encountered it.
Yeah, I have. And you have to make the choice to either just look at the screen really hard and pretend you don't know what's going on.
That's the British thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. I kind of just, I think every single occasion when it's happened, I've literally gone, "Come on, seriously. I'm trying to watch a movie here. Your girl's making random fucking noises."
That's so.
And
It's
I don't
so
like
rude,
this.
really, isn't it?
It is, but I've done it before, so I can't say shit.
You've done it.
Not fully. I haven't fully, but I've done something. Yeah, perhaps. Never mind. I will say, when I did it, the cinema was fucking empty, completely empty.
Oh, that's fine then. Well, I mean, it's ignoring the fact that you did it as well. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty thing to do, isn't it? Really. And I'm talking about the guy's perspective. You know, I mean, if the girl's down for it, then I mean, but still, come on, guys. Girl deserves better than that. Usually, come on. You know, like especially if you're like feel like you're the one initiating it. Come on, really. Bunny's there right now, like.
Well, I can't really say anything now, can I? I have no opinion on this matter anymore.
No, this is now the James show.
It is.
Don't do it.
Welcome to the James show.
Because
oh yeah, I can say don't do it. I'm not saying I'd do it now, but I've definitely done it at one point.
Especially if this has happened on numerous occasions, it means you're not the first to do it on that seat.
Yeah, I doubt there's a single seat in any cinema
ketchup,
in London.
People's sweaty asses, people's bare asses.
Okay, that's enough. That's quite enough of that.
Just in case any of you still were thinking of doing it. Hey, look, I'm just saying, if I saw somebody doing that in the cinema, I'm gonna get violent.
What?
If I was like in your situation and they were within 5 seats of me on the same row, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. When I'm in the cinema, even when it's, especially when it's my friends actually, and they start talking to each other, especially when they're sat either side of me, and they start talking over my head or something, I fucking freak out.
To be honest, I understand that because the cinema is one of those places where the rules are clear. The
Yeah,
rules are very clear. We're
yeah,
here for a specific reason. It's not like the rules are hidden. It's socially known in its entirety that you don't do certain things in the cinema.
exactly.
Just like it's socially known in society that you don't stand next to a guy at the urinal. And yet some
Yes,
weirdos still do
yes.
that.
Don't you hate that? Okay? Picture this: 7 urinals. Okay, if there's 7 urinals, only
Mhm.
3 guys, 4 guys can go up at once.
Yeah,
That's just how it works.
that's exactly how it works.
And then when some knobhead comes in and ruins the system, if he's the first guy in and he goes for the second one in, now only 3 guys can go in.
Yeah.
You know,
You
if you
see,
turn up
that's
and there's
exactly right.
if you turn up and there's 7 urinals in a row, 4 people are up there. That's checkmate. You've got to wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
You know what? It sounds like a really young person's opinion. You know, it seems to be only like 50-year-olds who really do this, although there are some young people who do, and I can't understand why. But this isn't me being self-conscious. This is just me like, I don't want to have to see yours. I'm pretty sure you don't have to see mine, because frankly, I'll just put you to shame. So let's not ruin each other's day, okay? So, come on. Like, if I have to be close enough where I can, like, see splash, no, fuck you. You get
Oh,
away.
no, it's just...
Especially when there's no dividers. Who the fuck does that?
Yeah, that freaks me out.
Don't you hate it when you go to a place and they've got, like, one of those big metal wall things that, you know? Not even urinals, just like
Oh
a
my
metal
God,
wall.
how do they... It doesn't even make sense. You have to, like, judge for yourself where you have to go. It's like the difference
Mhm.
between a guitar and a violin.
Exactly.
A guitar, you can put your fingers on a certain fret. A violin, you need to guess.
Mm.
With those urinals, it's just literally like, oh, do I take 2 steps to the right and then that's far
Yeah.
enough? Or what do I do?
Exactly. Especially when you got one that's like 20 feet long and 10 guys are all like squished in there. It's like, oh, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, no.
I am shoulder to shoulder with a guy next to me. If a guy sneezes, then he's gonna just, and I can see everybody else is running past, mixing my mind. Oh my God, come on.
I just...
If I was the owner of an establishment and when I bought the facility, it had one of those, oh, no, fuck that.
Of course.
And girls won't even remotely understand what we're saying. But trust me.
Yep, because of all
if
those
what if
ladies.
your toilets were just no dividers between them? Just stools next to each other?
I have a feeling that girls wouldn't really mind.
I bet they would, more than you think.
Probably, but
Probably not
the
in
girls
the
that I
same
hang out
way.
with literally just don't care. The girls will go into the bathroom. If it's one cubicle, they'll go in together. And it's like, okay. That
Whoa.
never happened with my friends. It's not like, hey, one urinal, let's just share. No, thank you.
No, that's not a thing that happens.
No, never.
Yeah, I don't.
There's just certain rules for certain things, and you shouldn't break them. Okay, don't talk in the cinema. Don't stand next to me at the urinals. It's just the way things are.
And if you ever see my face in the cinema and you start talking or you start fucking your girl, I'm gonna mess you up because that will piss me off. And here's the thing: you're not going to be in any position to fight because you're going to be sat there with a hard on. And guess what? I'm going to fucking kick it with my size 12. I'm not gonna kick it from the left, right, up, down, center. I'm gonna kick it front on.
Oh my God.
And I have size 12 UK, which is 13 US. Right? Picture that. It's gonna fucking hurt. You know, my foot is gonna cover half the surface area of your little fucking body.
See, your foot wouldn't even cover half the surface area of my dick. What? What was that? Sorry, what was that?
Gene. It's brilliant.
Wait, I was literally. Oh yeah, I got. Oh, see, this is such a shit topic, but I just got a banging pair of shoes. They are amazing.
What? Do you ever get confused for a guy?
What?
Do people ever confuse you for a guy?
No, never. Not really.
Hmm. Okay. Well, please tell me more about your new shoes.
Okay, now you'll probably eat your words when I say this, you piece of shit. I own. I now own what is the rarest pair of shoes in the United Kingdom. Official.
Bullshit.
100%. And you'll
Alright.
understand why now. They are Nike Air Force Limited Edition, EA Sports Edition for the Super Bowl.
So they're Nike.
They are Nike.
Okay. I know loads of people with Nikes.
Yeah, but you don't know loads of people with EA Sports Limited Edition for the Super Bowl, do you?
What's the difference?
Well, only a certain number of these shoes were made, and generally they're not in the UK because the Super Bowl's not in the UK. However, I
Did
had them
you
shipped over.
did you ever pay any attention to the shoes I wore?
No.
Start. What color were they?
What color were they?
Yeah.
What? What color were my shoes?
Various colors actually.
What?
My shoes was one color. I
But
wear
my
old.
shoes weren't various colors.
Were they? What were they?
See, this is how confused you are, Mr.
See,
James.
look, look, this is the point I'm trying to make. I wear brown leather shoes.
Mm?
That's it. And I'm a teenager. So when
Wait, you mean proper shoes?
yeah.
You were wearing brown
that or
leather
hiking
shoes.
boots. That
At
or
Eurogamer.
hiking boots. Sorry. Yeah.
You really?
Yeah. Actually, no. I was wearing black leather shoes at Eurogamer.
Why so smart?
They're comfier and they fit my feet better. They're also more practical.
How are they more practical? How is that? How does it, that doesn't make any sense? Do they have pockets? Like, how
No,
could they
the
possibly be more practical than any other pair of shoes?
the soles are better for my feet because I have really wide feet. They support my foot better.
Placebo.
Maybe.
I think it might be. I think it might be. So you got wide feet, so I'm guessing you can't wear Converses.
No.
I have a friend who's similar, in a similar situation.
I have the width of a size 13 feet, which is why I have to get size. This is UK sizes again, guys. I have to wear size 12 extra wide.
Jesus. You got flipper feet.
That's that. You know what my dad calls me? Flipper feet.
Really?
Yeah. He also calls me what was it? English bastard.
Well, funnily enough, I've called you both of those things. You trying to tell me something here, James? Am I your father?
Not unless you were rocking it at like 5 years old.
Mate, look at me. Look at me. Of course I was rocking it at 5 years old. I got a pretty deep and meaningful topic here if you want it.
Do you know what? Go for it.
Why not?
Go for it.
When it's all said and done, will you have said more than you've done?
Oh, well, I have said more than I have done. Or
Mm-hmm.
would I have done more than I have said?
In other words, are you a talker or a walker?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that people are listening, James. It's not just you. Some
Oh, that's
people
a good
might not
point.
get it.
I apologise, viewers, if you didn't get that.
Jesus.
But if you're a viewer and you did get that, he's insulting your intelligence.
Again, you're making it about specifics. Right, if you did get that, then assume I'm talking to someone else like every other fucking normal person would. Jesus.
Jesus. Jesus is a fictional character. Okay.
Actually, I think you'll find Jesus was actually real, and it's proved that he was real. Whether or not he was the son of God is a completely different
Are
story.
you gonna pull out the Shroud of Turin?
No, of course not. That doesn't make any sense. That could have been anyone.
Good. Okay. So am I a talker or walker? It'd be quite hard to claim I'm a walker on a podcast, wouldn't it?
For someone who says they understood the question, it's not physical walking. It's
I know that. I know that. It's because nobody wants to say they're a talker, really, do they?
they don't want to, but I'll be the first to say I honestly believe I talk more than I walk.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I
think-
shouldn't, and I don't want to. But at this point in time in my life, I think I do.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not always a bad thing. It's some, ambition. I think is the thing. If you do more walking than you do talking, you're either you're one of two things. You're either a really, really proactive person, and you are just go, 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 go all the time, or you just don't think much. You're just a slow fucker who sits there and says nothing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think in this particular situation, it's more specific than that. There's not an option of just being quiet, just not doing anything. There's the option of either you say you're going to do something or you do something. You either back up your words with actions or you just have words.
Well, yeah, it depends. It's hard to say, but it depends who, what, why, and where.
It is hard to say, but I
Because
know
I can think of
yeah.
examples in my head where there are people who, when I say I'm going to do something I do it. It happens, and it happens to the best of my ability.
Mm.
All of my kind of like military stuff comes to mind.
That's true, yeah.
Because you've got to be a doer there.
Yeah, that's a good point. You come from a very specific background where talking won't do the job.
Yeah.
Talking's
exactly.
not even an option.
And for in terms of what I'm like at home, well, I don't live with him anymore, but who I did live with, my stepdad, he was an ex-naval warrant officer for 22 years. And when he asked you to do something, you do it then and there. He was mid-50s as well, so he was a grumpy fucker. But if you didn't do what he asked there and then, he just assumed you weren't going to do it. And if you weren't going to do it, you disobeyed your commander.
You die.
Yeah, pretty much. He flips his shit. And he was a scary guy. I mean, if you think I'm tall, you've never met this guy. And he was in shape for his 50s. I mean, fuck. But, so, yeah, I'd say definitely whilst I live with him, I'm very much a doer. But definitely since he's gone, and I've lived nearly a year without him now, actually. It was around when I first met you that he went. And God, that's coming up to a year as well. Oh, it's nearly our anniversary, buddy.
Oh my God, what are you going to get me?
Oh. I don't know. I was just thinking movie night and a blowjob.
Sounds good to me.
Ah, yeah. So yeah, definitely in that point. But since then, the household has just become a lot more chilled and laid back. Especially now, I've got an Aussie in the house, and they're just the most. Aussies, if you don't know, were just born high. So they lived their entire life on weed without actually ever touching it a day in their life. So
wait a second. What do you mean?
Aussies, a lot of them are just so, alright, yeah, no worries, mate, no worries. They don't give a shit. They're so laid back. They just take what's thrown at them.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. I quite like it when people are like that.
I
When
think
they're
it's a
just
good thing.
chill,
I love it, yeah.
relaxed.
I mean, I'll be living with it soon.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Not sure I agree with that, if I'm honest.
What?
It's like, hey, guess what? I'm going to move to the furthest away place that's physically possible to go. Perfect.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I was just using her as a filler. I don't actually have anything to say.
great. That's great. In that case, here, I'm going to move on to this next topic. If you could offer a newborn baby one piece of advice, what would it be?
Assuming, of course, he could understand me.
Yeah, yes, of course. I'm not saying just say something to a baby. That's no. I'm saying this is a piece of advice they would keep with them for their entire lives.
Oh, I'm done. What would? Oh, fuck. Hang on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is my sick voice. If you ever wanted to
James's
hear that.
balls just dropped. Holy shit. Well done, James.
That was totally not that. But hang on a second.
Hey, my name's James.
Fuck you. Oh, a lot of phlegm. Okay. All right.
We may be straining your voice a bit here, Mr. James.
What piece of advice will I give
Mm-hmm.
them?
It's actually a tough question. I've been thinking about it, and I'm not set on one answer yet.
Don't do drugs. That'd be up there.
Yeah, don't do
It
drugs.
sounds like a cheesy answer, but I mean it's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you are who people think you are.
That's a great one. That's a very good one.
And that's one I've kind of come to the realization of in the last couple months of my life. So, I quite often see these things come up on Facebook where, and I see these a lot as well, not directed at me, just there's pictures in general that say, don't worry about your enemies, worry about your enemies disguised as friends and things like that. And a lot of these things about, oh, these people are two-faced, and it's basically this whole thing around, a lot of people are saying, when I hang around with this person, they're like this, and then when they're not with me, when we're hanging out with somebody else, they just change the way they act.
Yeah.
And, it might not be in a negative way towards them, it's just they change the way they act. That's not them being a different person. That's just them adapting to the people they're talking to.
100%. I hate. I mean, yeah. No, but sorry. Finish your point, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, but yeah, I think you see what I'm getting at here. It's like Barack Obama got accused of it at one point because he went to a certain part of, I think it was Philadelphia, where there was a large kind of very large black urban population, obviously, and they talk in a different way. There's big variations in the way people talk in the UK as there is in the US, and he just, I'm guessing almost without him realizing it, because that's where he grew up as well, not in that particular area, but in areas like that, he just changed the way he talked a little bit, and people are like, oh, you see, he's playing two different people, and he's a completely different person here as he is here. Bitch, that's not him being two-faced or whatever it is you're calling him. That's just him adapting to the people he's talking to, and that is just a necessary mean of communication.
Definitely. There are two people in this situation. There's the smart people and the dumb people. The smart people are the people who do adapt their conversations depending on who they're speaking to. First of all, it's not even a selfish thing. It's just the person you're speaking to. If you know they're speaking to them in a certain way, and this isn't just to do with accents or anything like that, it's just to do with speaking to people. If, for example, the gentleman you were speaking of before, this 50-year-old who is very strict, clearly you speak to him in a certain way, and you speak to one of your friends in a completely different way. Why? Because that is the appropriate way to speak to people. In the same way that if I bump into someone outside my house, I live in a council estate, so it's a rough area. If I bump into someone outside my house, one of the local hood rats, I will know them, first of all, because I've lived here for years. I will know them, and I will speak in a certain way to them, the same way I used to speak when I was younger. And James, you picked up on this. You picked up on the fact that I used to speak differently when I was younger. I will still speak to them that way now. But if I'm at work and some girl, beautiful woman comes in and is looking for a phone or something, I'll speak to her in a completely different way. It's just the smart thing to do. If you speak it the same way to everyone, first of all, you might go as far as insulting certain people.
Yeah.
Like certain people will take that negatively if you
Mm.
don't adapt the way that you're speaking to them.
Think about it
And
like this: if you spoke to your boss the way you speak to your oldest friend, how much longer are you gonna have a job?
very true, very true. Now, obviously, there's some exceptions, but in most cases, that's
Oh, if
very
you
true.
can talk to your boss like that, then he's a keeper.
Oh yeah, you got a sick job. To be fair, at the moment, it's weird, but I'm transitioning. My boss has just changed from someone who's very, very, very strict to someone who I just sit there and crack joke with every day. So
Um,
it's um it's weird, and that's an example of adapting. When he started joking with me, I started joking with him,
yeah,
and it's built from there.
yeah.
I've adapted to the way he's speaking to me, and it's benefited the relationship. So, yeah. And then there's the stupid people who say that you're two faced if you do that.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the long and short of it.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's no such thing as two faced people because there is.
Oh,
I
they
I
do
think
exist.
yeah, I think the definition of two faced is when you say two different things, two different specific things. You say one thing to one person and say something else to another person that contradicts what you said originally. That's two faced.
Yeah, mainly
Adapting the way you
hypocrites as
speak.
well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
They
100%.
kind of coincide.
Mm. Fucking crazy. Crazy.
But yeah, don't. I think it's something people do too often, or at least I've experienced it. Don't call somebody two faced because they adapt the way they act or behave around different people. If they change their opinions on things and all of a sudden they're for gay rights or against gay rights because they're talking to a different group, then yeah, that's kind of two
Yeah,
faced.
that's
You know,
different.
if they're doing it in the situation, because if they don't, I've seen people where they get into sticky situations. I'm thinking of an example where I was with a particularly elderly gentleman, not my ex stepfather or anything like that. He's 70, 80ish,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to be stuck with him, I knew, for about the next week. And he had a particularly old-fashioned view on gay rights. For that week, it was just much easier to avoid, saying my own views about it.
I was
And
gonna say exactly what you just said.
and
Carry
it's
on.
it on. Is that me being polite or is that me being two-faced and not standing up for people with gay rights? I'll be honest, this guy hasn't got many years left. He's
Yeah.
probably not going to influence that many people. I'm definitely not going to influence him.
Yeah.
It just makes the week a lot easier for me and him to just. I'll be honest, I just tried to avoid it most of the time.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of the week, I said something along the lines of, he saw something come up on the TV about it being allowed, and he said something along the lines of, oh, for fuck's sake, why are they supporting it? Blah blah blah. And I said something along the lines of, oh, just live and let live. Nothing particularly for or against, but definitely not against. And he went, what? Are you supporting them? Blah blah blah. And I just, from that moment onwards, I wouldn't say I agreed with him, but I didn't disagree with
Avoided
him.
the subject, basically.
Yeah, I
Avoided
danced
expressing
around.
your opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I eluded him with words, basically, so he couldn't really tell what I was saying
Now
because
that's
it was just
being
easier.
polite. That's 100% being polite. You don't want to turn around and say, "What? Are you serious? You inconsiderate bastard." That's just not how it works. You
Yeah,
can't live your life that way. And it's you could also go the opposite way. Let's say you, James, were homophobic because you're homophobic, and you were hanging around with a group of gay guys. You can get on with a gay guy even if you don't believe that being gay is right. It's possible. Like, for example, let's say, in fact, it's easier if I say it's me. So let's say I'm homophobic and I'm speaking to a gay gentleman. The way that my personality is at the moment, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to be extremely nice to this guy because it's still a human. It's still another human being right there in front of me. I'm not going to sit there and try and hurt his feelings. That doesn't make me two faced because I don't want to express my actual opinions to this guy. It just makes me not want to hurt this guy. That's it. That's not two faced either. Although technically, yes, dictionary definition, it is two faced. No, it's not. It's not. It's just you being a nice person. In the same way that saying like if you have a girlfriend, she comes in and she says, "Hey, how do I look?" and you don't even notice anything different. Every time you're supposed to go, you look banging.
Awesome.
You look sexy. You look amazing. You look beautiful. Why? Because that's what the girl needs to
Did you
hear.
go up in boob size? Because that looks like you did. Is that just me? By the way, that line works great.
Really? What if they're double D's?
I've.
Any bigger would just be inconvenient.
I was gonna say, yeah, if any bigger than double D's, then you're gonna need some floaties, but
Yeah.
yeah, and a sonar rangefinder and
I
a
actually
compass.
watched a pretty interesting documentary on the science behind the Nazis in World War II. Not the science behind the Nazis, but the Nazi science.
Okay.
It was very, very interesting to watch. Some of the technology that the Nazis came up with during World War II, at least, is still ahead of time now.
Yeah, I have noticed that actually. If you actually look at some of the rocket programs that they were doing, they did horrible stuff with them, admittedly, the
Oh, yeah.
Blitz and the V2s and all that. But actually, look at some of the stuff they were using. That was, I mean, that's pretty modern, you know?
Yeah. The best way I heard it put was that Germany at that time made a hugely significant amount of scientific progress during that period of time, but it was entirely based around the idea of war.
Yeah.
So it's both. It's both.
It tends to
It's
be where most progress comes from, unfortunately.
sadly yes, it
But
does.
I mean, it's when you're most desperate, though, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, one of the I'd say greatest, one of the biggest players, biggest scientists for the Nazis was given the choice at the end of the war to either surrender to the Russians or come and work for the American space program.
Oh,
And it was,
he went to the Americans, didn't he?
he did.
Yeah.
And he came up with the rocket that landed a man on the moon.
Wow.
Now, again, you can't say the technology is bad, but it was being made for bad reasons. Now, that gentleman himself was an exception. He was just there for the science. And of course, those scientists that were working for the Nazis, most of them were there by force. And again, a nice way that someone put it was that people who make guns aren't making machines that kill people. They are just making a machine that can fire a projectile. That's their aim in life.
It's
This
a
needs to fire a
long-distance
projectile
hole-punching
successfully.
machine.
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. Everyone who makes a gun is sitting there thinking, this needs to project this item at this speed with this accuracy. They're not thinking, I need to kill someone. Let's make something that kills someone. But it is still both. It's both. The guy who made the Kalashnikov, for example, actually regretted it when he was on his deathbed.
Oh, yeah, the guy who made the AK-47 and the AK-74, it was that guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. He, in his death note, he wrote about how much he hates that his creation was used for such immense, amounts of destruction.
Yeah.
He created the favoured weapon of all militia and terrorist groups, which is sad, but to be fair, he's also created the most reliable assault rifle of all time.
Precisely. That's exactly what, and that's what
So-
he set out to do. He went out to make the most reliable piece of machinery in that genre of machinery. That's a terrible word, but in that group, he set out to make the most reliable machine in that group. He succeeded, and then he's a human, and he just started thinking then about how much his great job at creating this machine had affected the world in a negative way.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, even without it, something else would have occurred.
Oh yeah,
Bad
100%.
people do bad things.
If the AK-47 was never made, it would just mean that a different weapon would be used
Yeah.
instead, and then the person firing it, maybe it jams, and then he dies instead of the other person dying.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't stop anything. The world keeps on spinning. Butterfly effect.
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame him for every death by AK-47 at all.
No. To be honest,
I blame
even
the
if he
man who
went
pulls the
out,
trigger.
Yeah, 100 exactly. Even if he went out with the express intention, even if he was sitting there thinking, I need to make something that kills people really good, really good. It needs to kill people really well. Still, only a small part of the blame is with him.
Yeah.
Because if no one picked it up and no one decided to pull the trigger, it wouldn't kill a
It's
single
like
person.
exactly. It's like saying, who do you blame, the blacksmith or the man who swung the sword? It's obviously the guy who swung the sword.
Obviously.
You know.
Obviously. And yet there are numerous laws that we have at the moment that are
Yeah.
contrary to that.
So some people could even say that the AK-47's created, just guns in general have made more peace than they have death. It's a very debatable topic itself, but
Yeah, that's a very
in
yeah.
some views, it does.
In some aspects that is very true, but then in others it's not. It's kind of tough.
Mm. Well, one of the major deterrents for terrorism is the fact that we have heat-seeking missiles and they don't.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true.
but um,
It's a
yeah,
tough topic. War is a very tough topic.
mm.
But at the same time, if we were smart, there wouldn't be any war.
It's
Like,
true.
it's
But
pretty simple.
we would all need to be smart.
Yeah, every single person would need to be smart. It only takes one person in power to just change everyone's opinions.
Mm.
It's just ridiculous, man. This war shit, it just stresses me out because I don't see how it makes any sense. Because at the moment, the only reason war exists is because other people are focusing on war. So then you have to focus on war. World
Mm.
peace, man. World peace. Every
I am.
country has something that it can provide.
I'm a bit of a funny one on war. I come from a very military family, um. So
That's a good point. What is your opinion on war? That's a very good point.
I definitely don't think it's a positive.
But I'm guessing you don't think it's a negative necessarily either.
It'd be hard. I mean, obviously, if there was a world with no bad people at all, then yeah, it'd be lovely. But
Yeah.
um, perhaps I'm a realist. That's never going to happen. So the necessity of war is there, unfortunately.
It is. And to be honest, I think that the people, this is hard to word. I think the
When
training that's in place with our system of battle, at least, or our wars, our armies, and stuff like that, the system of training that's there, I think that's good. I think that makes good
do you
people.
know what? I agree. And here's the thing about our armed forces. In our armed forces, we have things called illegal orders. Now, illegal orders are, let's say, you had a corrupt commander, and they ordered you to, they ordered you to do something which technically you shouldn't be allowed to do. And I'm not talking about killing somebody in this example. They just
Hmm.
told you to go and set somebody's house on fire, and there was nobody in it. Um, you would unfortunately have to carry out that command, but afterwards you're not held accountable. You have then every right to sue that commander, but at the time you're not supposed to question it because hey, you don't know, there could have been something really dangerous in there. You
Yeah.
could have been doing it for good or bad.
Yeah.
But in terms of straight up pointing a gun at somebody and pressing fire, you are allowed to deny that order. And that's what I like about our military. They don't have this in the Russian military. I think the US have it. They don't have this in Russia, China. I don't think they have it in Germany either, Italy. But pretty much most places that aren't first world Western countries don't have this in place. You get told to shoot somebody, you do it, and then you question it.
Yeah.
We have the reverse of that. You can question it before you straight up kill someone, which is a good system.
Which it's good morally, but in the art of war, is it good?
Um, I think it is and isn't. It is because at least you have in mind that you're fighting for the good.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Because you feel like you're not fighting somebody else's war. You have a certain element of control yourself.
Mm. Yeah. And not only that, but if you know the enemy is in a position where they can't not shoot you if they
Mm.
get told to shoot you, at least you have something in the fight.
Yeah.
You have a reason to be defending your country, to be defending yourself. Um, well, in the rare cases where you don't have other reasons to be defending your country and yourself.
Yeah. Um, it's always a tricky thing, war, really, isn't it? I mean, when was ever the right time to pull the trigger? But
I know the exact right time to pull the trigger. It's all about mathematics, my friend.
if it will
But
save more lives than it will take.
precisely.
Yeah, I
In
suppose I
my
can agree with
opinion,
that.
if you said to me, "Would you shoot 5 people to save 6?" That's a definite yes.
Yeah.
That's just
Also,
me. I know that's a very controversial
yeah.
controversial thing to
But then,
say, but that's me.
and then,
That's
no, I effectively agree with you. Many people don't have the potential, don't have it in them to take lives. Um,
I don't. I to be honest, I don't think I could. I don't think I could actually physically do it. But the choice itself, it makes sense to me.
yeah. It's very hard. I think nobody truly knows if they could take a life until
They've done it, or they've
you've
been in the
either done
situation.
it or you've been in a situation where you can do it
Yeah.
justifiably. You don't know if you're in that position. Um, I think I'm more likely. I think I'm one of the people who could. Just because I think I'm that type of person.
And
I
it's your
can.
background, really, the way you were
Yeah.
raised, I suppose.
Yeah. Um. Yes. I mean, I liked the film Jack Reacher. Have you seen it?
I haven't actually. Has Tom
There's this one
Cruise in
line
it?
in there where he says, I think there's 3 or 4 different. This is Tom Cruise's character. He says there are three
Mm.
or four different types of people who join the military. One is people who they have it run in the family, which is my situation. The people
Yeah.
have done it for generations and they join, and they fight, and that's what they do, and then they go on to their civvy street careers.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you've got the people who just need a job.
Yeah.
Three, you've got the people who just want a legal means of killing.
Yeah. That's definitely one of them.
And unfortunately, those people exist. I mean, they're good and bad. If anything, I'd rather have those people on the front lines, just because even though they only want a legal means of killing, put them on the front lines because they're who I care about least.
But at the same time, I know people who have joined the army for that reason, just because they thought guns were cool. They just wanted to shoot people. But then the situation itself and the training they had to go through to get to that position
Changes them, yeah.
changed them
Oh yeah.
completely.
The military changes you as a person. A lot of people say you don't know who you are until you've been in the military. I don't think that's true. I think you know who you are before you join the military. It's just that once you go through the military, you are physically a different person. You
Yeah.
haven't found out who you are. It's just changed you. Most likely bettered you. Some people, it can ruin them if you're in a particularly unfortunate scenario. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a safe job all the time. So, but yeah, I don't even know what the question was anymore. But yeah, point is the guy who made the AK-47, unfortunately died quite recently, and he died unfortunately quite unhappy with himself,
Which is a real shame.
sad way to die.
Yeah, especially because when you have to take you have to take into consideration the fact that he was sad because of the choices that other people made, which
Yeah,
I don't like. I don't like that.
yeah,
Especially on your deathbed, man. That's the worst. I mean, for someone, uh, for someone like me, and to be honest, someone like you as well, your deathbed is your last moments in existence,
yeah.
and to be sad in that situation it's just awful.
Mm. Death is, I think, as you get older, the realism of I'm not claiming to be old. I'm not old. You guys know this, but you understand death more as years go past in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
The realism of just how final death is, you know, and every time a friend or family member or pet dies, it hits you more and more each time. Death it's a permanent, unless of course you're religious and but for me, it's just this final ending thing, and it's just nothing. And if anything, that's almost as hard to understand as religion itself. It's
Yeah,
just how
definitely.
it's just how I can just stop. And it's weird to think that just in my brain right now, on your body right now, what do you consider you? Whereabouts in your body are you? Most people say it's just between and behind the eyes. You know, where do you think that you exist?
But I'd say that's only for people with sight. I'd love to ask a blind person where they think they exist.
It'd probably be near their primary senses, which is there is.
Do you think so?
I imagine so.
I would have thought they would have gone something more like the heart.
No, I think it'd always be closer to your brain. I think it's what most people choose, but it's different for everybody.
Mm.
Where do you consider you? And then think about it. Me on this level, I'm a thing. I am a conscious being capable of making decisions and learning, and choice making and making decisions and really, what am I? I'm a bunch of neurons sending chemical signals to each other. But how on earth do chemical signals create me? How on
Yeah,
earth does all that transform to my brain and me being a conscious being that knows and thinks and breathes and ah,
it's
that that
crazy.
that is where I wish I could really get into religion,
Yeah,
because that would give me closure on that question.
true.
But yeah, and also I think the soul helps people kind of get their head around that. The whole concept of you have a soul. Um, so
And that's where you are, basically.
yeah, exactly. But it's
See, now the soul is something I believe in, but not in the same way that other people do. It's not like, oh yeah, it's just an exact copy of you, but like a ghost. And
yeah,
like, I believe in the soul because of the fact that you are conscious, and your conscious being is completely different to my conscious being. Even though medically, we probably have almost identical brains, almost identical hearts, identical lungs. Everything is almost identical in every single way. And yet, you are a completely different person to me who will react in completely different ways in certain situations, who will feel completely different in those certain situations as well. So I believe that that is what a soul is. It's the decisions you've made in the past, what you've learned from those decisions, and how that would affect your decision making in the future.
oh yeah, big time.
That's a soul.
So many feels,
The feels. The feels.
so many of them. Let's. Have you got any happy topics?
Let me think. Um. hmm. I've decided
Okay.
I've already said this to you before, but I'm going to move to Italy. That's it.
Yeah. Wait. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to move to Italy. I've
Right then.
decided
Okay.
purely because every single Italian woman I've seen in my life has been just stunning. I don't know how they do it. Every single one. They walk
Really?
into the shop and I'm like, here comes an Italian woman. Everyone step back. This is my customer.
Well,
Pay
I
as you
think
go, come to the back.
if you went to Italy, it'd be a different case. I think they only actually let the pretty ones out.
But
But
what?
you know,
They judge them at the airport.
yeah.
Nope. Go
No,
back.
you can't leave. You'll make us look bad.
But honestly, oh my God.
I
Some of the women. I got
I
one of them
suppose it's
working in Nando's upstairs. So I just go up there. I get discounted food. I make her sit down even though she's supposed to be working. It's unbelievable.
well, I suppose it's what you were into at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, here's a kind of topic type thing.
Mm-hmm.
What to you is, okay, so let's say you have a girl which physically you think is very attractive,
Yep.
but she has a very a vile, kind of character to her.
Nah.
You know, you don't like who she is as a person at all. And this is in my experience. For some reason, when I meet a girl who is incredibly attractive, but then I decide I don't like her as a person, there's not even that physical attraction anymore. It just
100%.
goes, and I'm like, wait a second. But in terms of just a physical basis, she hasn't changed. But for some reason now, when I look at her, my brain just makes her look like a witch. It just automatically morphs up, and she just doesn't look attractive now. I'm no more attracted to her than I am just another regular human being. You know, she's just another bag of bones and flesh to me. Is that the same with everybody?
I think, well, I don't know, actually. I don't know, because those
Maybe that's how
good-looking
you know
girls
if
who
you're
are
shallow
just...
or not.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Exactly. And it works the opposite way as well. Like, for example, the best example I can think of is when I went to sixth form. I went to sixth form at Cardinal Vaughan Roman Catholic Memorial School. Um, and I had already gone through 5 years of school there. And at the time, it was, well, it still is actually. The first 5 years of that school, which is secondary school, is all boys. It's an all boys school, and sixth
Whoa.
form is mixed. So when I went up to sixth form, all the girls came in. Immediately, when you see these girls, you're judging them based entirely on looks because you don't know any of them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one girl in particular who I did not find attractive in the slightest. And yet now, she is one of the nicest girls, because I know her now. She's one of the nicest girls in the world, and I find her very, very attractive. I think she's absolutely stunning now because of the fact that she was so nice.
Yeah.
And it does work the opposite way. I know beautiful women who are just, oh, I can't stand them. And it's exactly like you said. Everyone else will be like, wow, she's hot. And I'll be like, no, fuck that girl. Honestly,
Yes.
no, go away. I want nothing to do with you. I can't even look at you without being angry.
Yeah. Completely understand where you're coming from with that.
And just do me a favor, guys. If you're good looking, don't be a dick about it, please. Pretty please.
Yeah.
It just seems to be the norm. If you're good looking, you're a dick. Like,
I was gonna say, if you're good looking and funny, what the fuck? You must have started off as very ugly.
yes, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
which it's hard to say. Like, I consider myself a kind of funny guy. You know, like I'm more capable of making a girl laugh than the average male. I think, just because I think I'm more confident, maybe.
Yeah.
In talking, and that's just got to help, hasn't it? Really.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In terms of how attractive, I'll be honest, there are guys out there, they have the whole jawline thing going on and all that, and I'm just a regular guy, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not either end of the spectrum. I'm just regular looking, literally. But
I think you're a good looking lad. I'm gonna put it out there. And to be honest, I think when you get to my age, I think you're gonna have to be beating the women off you. I honestly believe that, because I picture you with stubble, and I think I'd do you. So there's you got some serious things. Even now, I reckon you're a lady killer, and you're just not telling anyone. That's true, isn't it? It is, isn't it? I bet it is.
I'm in hot water at the moment over a situation with
Say no
several
more.
ladies,
Say
but
no
I
more.
can't
Say
actually
no
say
more.
anything about it.
It's okay. End it. Because I know that some of your conquests, some of your many conquests, watch the show. And you give me details about what they look like naked. That's not true. None of that is true. I understand some actually watch the show. None of that's true. James is a nice guy. He's pretty fun to get along with. And he does have a huge penis. I've seen it. He stood next to me in the urinals for some reason.
That's completely true.
100% correct.
Not one bit of a lie.
I mean,
But,
the guy's got size 12 shoes.
That's true, you know.
What else are you going to say?
I
He's got
tell you
size
what.
12 extra wide shoes. Hey,
I'm just saying, girth.
he's got a baby's arm.
Without the fingers, obviously. Just... you know,
But no, honestly, James, you're a good-looking guy. You really are. I can't see you having any trouble with the ladies, because you're a nice guy as well, which is perfect. Rare. It's hard to come by.
I'm I find I am one of those people though who is more likely to have a personality clash than most people. You get some people who just gel with everybody. I'm one of those people
Yeah.
who gel. I'm one of those people who just gels amazingly with 90%. If I don't get along with you really well, I do not get along with you at all.
Really?
Mm.
So there's no one you can think of where you don't necessarily get along with them, but you're friendly to each other.
Um,
There must
I
be, sure.
suppose there are people like that, yeah. But I mean, that those people, I'm pretty sure we'd consider each other nice guys, and we
Mm.
get along just fine. But then there are people I know, there's nobody really I know who I'm like, yeah, he's alright, but sometimes he's a bit odd, and no, you either get along with me or you don't, and that's usually because I have a bad way about going. I say, sometimes I say stuff and then I see the words come out of my mouth and float through the air, and I try to grab them and put them back, but my hands just kind of go through them like fog.
Ah,
And
so you're crazy. Sometimes I see words and I try to grab them. Okay, James. All right, don't kill me.
yeah, that's a problem.
No, I do understand what you mean. I
Um,
understand.
and yeah, and then that just it causes problems. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Here's a story,
Mm-hmm.
and we something went on in my area of education where a group of 16-year-old males, quite tall, all 6'1", 6'2", so tall guys,
Yeah.
walking down a path on the side of a road. About 5 of them. They took up the entire path, and this old lady was coming up the path. None of them moved.
Oh,
None of
my
them.
God.
She had to walk
Really?
around onto a main road to go around them. I'm sorry, but really? Instantly, I can tell you I will not get along with any of them.
100%.
No. No. It's not going to happen because how can you do that? I'm sorry, but to them, it's like, I'm like, yeah, I was just walking down the path. I didn't care. I didn't notice. She's got to walk. No, fuck you. Are you an idiot?
That's the
Are you
most stupid
completely
thing.
retarded?
It's just a lack of respect. That's all it is. A lack of
Yeah.
respect. And I hate that. I hate that. And you know what makes me hate that? I'll be on the bus, and I'll see just the most ridiculously gangster guy on the bus chatting to his friend. And the first thing I think is, God, I don't like these guys. I can already tell I don't like these guys. They'll be sitting there talking about, yes, so, bruv, he came up to me, chatting shit and ting, and it's so late. And then some old woman will get on, and one of the guys will literally punch his friend and go, hey, mate, get up, get up, get up. And they'll both just get up and give the old lady the seat. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. Immediately, my opinion of you has just changed. Fair
Wow.
enough. You're a respectful guy. And I remember the point in my life when those hood rats, it suddenly became cool to be nice to people. Like if you saw someone having trouble with their shopping and you knew that they lived in your area, one of the guys would literally go, "Oh, come, let's help this woman with the shopping," and then everyone would be like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go do it," and the woman would be shocked. But it's just respect. It's just simple as respect.
Yeah. I wish I saw more of that.
Yeah, there isn't enough of it about. There just isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, I fit into the age category where I don't want to wear a hoodie whilst I'm walking down the street because I don't want to. It sounds like such a up myself thing to say, but I don't want to intimidate old people.
Yeah, of course.
It sounds. I'm not trying to say I'm this huge scary guy. I'm not. Like I say, I'm a regular person, but it doesn't take much for they don't know me. They just see a teenager who is because old people tend to be smaller, who is taller than them walking down the street in a hoodie. Of course they're gonna be on guard.
Yeah, definitely.
They're gonna they'll walk past me before they ask me for help with the shopping.
Yeah.
So if you're in that same situation as me and you fit into this category where we just naturally kind of are presumed to people to be thugs and to be these horrible people which nobody wants to be around because of whatever image this social networking or whatever is created of us, then smile as you walk past them. Afternoon, morning, how are you? Just doesn't even have to be a conversation. Smile and a nod will do. Just do that as you walk past people.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I was that old person and I saw like a 17, 18-year-old lad walking past me and he just smiled and said hello and said good morning, yeah, that would do it for me.
Yeah, 100%. I do it. I literally do it every day. I walk through the area. There's this one guy who is a security guard of some kind, but I think he's a security guard for the area because he's always standing on the staircase that I go up to cross the road to go to the shopping center I work at. And he's always there. Every day he's there just standing there. And he'll be standing there for like 8 hours a day. I don't know his name. I don't know where he lives. I don't know if he lives locally. I've never seen him before I started working at this place. Yet every morning, he will make an effort to say hello to me because I said hello to him once. And we've never had a conversation. It's always just, oh, you're right there, mate. I was like, yeah, good, mate. How are you? Yeah, good. And then we walk off. That's as long as any conversation has lasted between us. And yet we have a mutual respect between each other. I like the guy. I guarantee he likes me too. If he literally stopped me and said, mate, do you mind giving me a hand with something? I'd be like, yeah, what is it? That's it. Simple as. Like, I don't know the guy. I've never spoken to him properly, but I'd do him a favor, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like completely on the same page as you. And I hope everybody listening as well is on the same page as us right now. And if you're not, just take a step back and just review the way you communicate with people you've ever met. You know, just literally after you walk past somebody on the street, just think about it. Think about the way, you know, did you let them pass on the path, or, you know, did you make them walk onto the grass to go around you, or did you make them walk onto the road? Just think about little things like that. Just think about the way you interact with people you don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
Because ultimately, you are who other people think you are.
Oh my God, get out of my brain. I was just going to say that exact same thing. We spend too much time together. It's official.
That's the problem.
I'll be honest, James. Do you think we've hit the 2-hour mark?
I think we have, and then some.
I think that's a positive note to end the podcast on.
I think so as well. I think
so
that'd be a nice happy point to finish podcast.
Yeah, take that into your heart, people. Take it into your heart. Don't just ignore it. Use it. Change yourself. And then if you're already one of these guys that's friendly all the time to everyone they meet, then continue. Because you're one of us. And we're all one big family here. Us
and
Podcast X
money.
guys are just... Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too, yeah. It's not money. It's currency. It's worth nothing, mate. It's worth nothing. Yeah, just send all your currency over to us. We'll get rid of it in a humane fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I guess thank yous are in order. So thank you so much for watching. If you're still here at this point, you're probably the biggest legend in the world, or you're called Walter.
Yeah, I noticed the average viewer retention for Podcast X is, I think, 40 minutes, which is actually not too bad. But
that's not bad.
But
that's not bad at all. 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you, guys.
Hit and refresh, Walter.
Yeah, Walter. The one thing I love about Walter is you can tell he's just typing comments as he's watching the video.
Yeah, definitely.
He literally he'll put 15 comments in the comment section because he just hears something. He's like, oh, yeah, that's an interesting point. Here, I have something to say about that because I'm a genius.
Yep. When I see 20 comments come up, I'm like, oh, well, that would be Walter and someone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He's a hardcore fan, and we love you, mate.
Of course. You're a legend. And hey, it doesn't mean it's just Walter that has to do it. Join in. Speak to Walter. He's like Jesus. Join this conversation. Ask him questions. He knows everything. Yeah. He literally knows what time you masturbated today. So just ask him. I bet you would tell you.
Bet you he'd tell you what RPM you were going at.
Yeah. RPM, that's a weird way to masturbate.
Yeah.
Why would you be doing revolutions?
Revolutions, that's a good point.
That's
yeah.
Meat spin.
Oh, you went dark with that one.
I did. No one typed that anywhere.
Yeah.
No one typed that anywhere.
Do you remember when you used to get those click here for this, and then you click on it, it's always meat spin?
Always.
Oh.
And if you really should feel the need to look up meat spin, post your score down below. That's what I'm saying. Let's start a competition.
Okay. Well, yeah, this episode we've definitely, God, we've gone through a lot, really, haven't we?
We have. We've covered so many different things:
It's
life,
true.
death, war, peace,
And being a good person.
currency, evolution.
God.
Some of us being correct. That's me, and you being incorrect. I mean, we've covered everything.
I wonder how old our average viewer is.
It's got to be reasonably young. I think it might even be younger than you, maybe.
Do you reckon?
I don't know.
Because I'm overhearing the words we were just saying during that podcast. We were just talking about being good people and currency and buying up, gold stock and things like that.
True, but I don't think we hit a level where people of a certain age wouldn't understand what we were talking about. At least I don't.
That's
Think
good.
so.
Well, hopefully not. If not, they're educated now.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine. Well, to be honest, I think that the people who watch this are pretty well educated anyway, just by
Oh yeah,
what people have commented in the past and
definitely.
everything like that. I mean, who was it? In the last. Oh no, God, who was
Was
it?
it Liamas or something?
Who? Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was him. Yeah, he was talking about the EMP prevented.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was. Yeah, and he was saying how
Faraday's
him
cage.
and his dad were talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we've got a pretty intelligent little group of people who watch this
It's good.
podcast, which is pretty awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's awesome.
James, I think you should do the outro.
Okay, I will do. Well, guys, this has been episode 13 of season 2 with myself and Bunny Tiz. Thank you very much for sticking around. We know these things are actually getting longer and longer. We're sorry about that. Eventually, they will stop getting longer. If you want them shorter or longer, then just tell us and we'll try and cut down. But, we're just somehow pulling more and more words out of our ass. So... yeah, let us know, longer or shorter, or if you're happy with what it is at the moment in the comments down below. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for sticking around, and we will see you next Saturday.
Awesome.